October PCE data just coming through here as we get going to kick things off on what is going to be a busy day here. Nothing yet on the month-over-month number. We are expecting both core PCE and the year-over-year number to come through here. We'll start with initial jobless claims. There it is. 0.3% month-over-month for PCE on the core side. For September, the overall number, 0.2%. 2.1 was expected, comes in exactly in line with expectations, 2.1%. Initial jobless claims, as I mentioned, 216,000 week over week versus 228,000 expected. Continuing claims a little bit higher this week on the week over week number, 1.86 million versus 1.88 million, a little bit higher versus last week. It was 1.82 million, if I remember correctly on that number. But inflation still right across the board, or the PCE side of things still basically in line with expectations. Tons to talk about this morning on the individual side. Robinhood, one of those downside right across the board, 10% this morning. There's Meta, there's Microsoft, we'll get to in a second. But I mean, I can't just sit here and try to be all serious when the pirate and the football player here. Happy Halloween.
Good morning, Brendo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, lots to talk about today. Nothing short of dense is today. Microsoft, Meta, both reporting yesterday after the bell, both downside this morning. SMCI as well with the debacle yesterday. Uber doing a little bit better, but they're also down about 10% on the morning, Brendo. And as you mentioned, Hood reporting about Peloton on Carvana. A little bit of a different story for both of those. 21% right now for Peloton, another 18 for Carvana. What's going on here?
Yeah, surprise guide was much better than expected for Peloton. We'll talk about that as well. Raider Trader back in the building for another day. Mr.
Captain Raider.
Captain Raider Trader is here today. Any surprises catching your eye this morning?
Not really, but definitely some trends in the overall how the reactions to other earnings have been, which has been typically by the dip. So this is going to be an interesting morning, even though a lot of these names are down like Microsoft and Meta.
All right. I was just seeing Hood popping up in front of me here. Still downside to the tune of about 9.5%, but it is making a decent move back higher, so we'll keep an eye on Robinhood. Maybe check that call possibility. 9% though still for Hood here. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, and I'm telling you, Peloton's got all that extra mustard. It's like a foot-long banger for Roblox up here, up 19%. And as you can tell, I mean, it's just a regular day. It's earnings. It's an absolute bonanza right now. As long as you're not looking at, it's Uber is not looking very good for sure. But it's going to be a wild one here today. Happy Halloween, everybody. We're going to have a lot of fun. I can't believe these squeezes. Carvana was a $7 stock at the beginning of last year.
I like Carvana. At the beginning of last year it was?
It was like February or something like that. It was like $7. It's 200 and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's squeezing. That's
Peloton is the one going higher and higher right now, up to 840. And I just put in the chat there, like, the rich keep getting richer here with Peloton. Who was the guy that just bought all these shares and was calling a $31 top? I mean, still making that huge move to the upside. Wait till you guys see Fabian over there. Go over to Peloton here. Let's just see what Peloton's doing quickly here for everybody. Starting to break higher right now through 840. Here we go again. Peloton. You had a couple too many hot dogs. You get on that Peloton. But yeah, there goes. Oh, and then I'm buying more Uber. What's up, Joe?
Joe in the house.
Robinhood down 10. So there's two names I actually want to buy today, actually. Well, not today necessarily, but just, off these moves. We talked about putting a starter position on Uber, so down 10%. Maybe time to add a little bit to that position, and we'll go over those numbers in a minute. But, Robinhood, the assets under management continue to grow. I like Robinhood there. They had a promotion apparently where they're matching 1 to 3% of deposits. That promotion not going so well. In the fact that it's costing them money, but that's what's gaining them the assets. So I think they're thinking about getting rid of that now, which will help them moving forward. Robinhood, huge move down yesterday as they report, but then bouncing back today, only down 9%.
Only.
Get your glizzies today.
Cannon. There's so many earnings names today. We'll get through a few of them here to kick things off. Roblox just popping up in front of me as well. Huge move here, almost 18% at the highs here for RBLX. Just sliced through $50 like it wasn't even there. I just glanced through some of these numbers just very quickly, but it looks pretty impressive here. 3.5 billion versus, or 3.55 billion versus, or to 3.57 billion was the range on the guide for RBLX. Per share numbers better than expected. Looks like overall revenue beat as well. So RBLX, another one to add to the list here. That's a big move though, almost 18%.
1.13 billion in total bookings. Brian, I know the street was looking for a lot less than that, 1.03 billion. So good look there. They also grew their user base by 28% year over year. It's a good look all around. As you mentioned, 18%. Breaking through some of these key technical levels that we put in late September at that 48.5, taking 50 out.
It's going to be one of those days, I think, where we get so many movers and so many things to consider. You really got to narrow your focus a little bit. RBLX, something that you would...
Yeah, RBX definitely, or Roblox, of course, that fits the narrative of the kind of small cap, mid cap movers that we were kind of talking about with IWM, in that we're actually looking for TNX this week to cross underneath the 4.2, and that was kind of my trigger to see major relief in the small caps and bonds. So, of course, Roblox being not a direct small cap, but it moves as a mid cap, small cap, and that's one of the names that I've been watching for sure.
Shout out to our friends over at Worksport, just popping up in front of me here as well. A fresh headline for WKSP. They're unveiling an upgraded Solus technology, enhancing solar tonneau covers. Remember, this company makes tonneau covers for trucks, including electric vehicles, including the Rivian, so enhancing their solar tonneau covers for broader market reach. So WKSP still holding up decently. Here's a daily chart, nice little bull flag, still holding around that 74-cent area.
Yeah, good look on Worksport. Maybe that will break out for a little bit of a treat on this day. I just saw in the chat someone figured out what Brendan's costume is. He's Michael Douglas from Falling Down.
I thought someone
So you got to watch out.
Right. I thought someone said Jerome Powell as well.
Jerome,
Stop focusing in on me.
keep focusing. Don't put the camera on me. He said stop focusing on me. That's when you're supposed to go all in and do like the tight shot.
Ooh, first Cybertruck delivery in Toronto. We talked about that yesterday. People talking about that coming through again.
Tesla on the line.
So we had the so PCE came out. Core PCE price index was plus 2.7 versus plus 2.6 year over year. September, plus 2.7 versus plus 2.6. So little hotter on the PCE. You know, it wasn't a big thing, so we didn't really look at it too much there. But yeah, we do have a nice little move down here into 58.12 right now. So we only lost about 10 handles. I'm not too worried here. That's the ES, and then whoopsies. And if you're going to look at the NASDAQ right here, which we look at a little bit of a larger time frame, you know, the NASDAQ continues to make that move here in the AM. Nice little pullback for this. I mean, but a lot of the names aren't moving. So core PCE, 0.1 higher, plus 2.7 there. There's just so many names that are moving around right now. Microsoft, I mean, we have Google. I mean, I think after seeing that Microsoft quarter and that Meta quarter, that to be honest with you, I think Google is even in a better position right now. Randy.
Boom.
Forgot about Halloween or?
That's it.
So did I.
Clearly.
Because Randy, see, the thing is we have, wait a minute, where is my hot dog guy? How come on the day I'm looking for it, I can't find it? All right, I don't even see the hot dog can.
What?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I don't know about the gunners though. Yeah, you got to use the microphone, otherwise
Yeah, we can take off.
He's looking pretty tasty.
Ramin will get mad.
I put on my other sunglasses, but then you can't see the screens.
Add a little hot sauce to you, and away we go. A little chili.
I wonder if Russell Jackson's in the
sauerkraut.
chat. I mean,
It's a sauerkraut that you need.
you don't put Vegemite on hot dogs.
No, that's a crime.
You do not.
Heck,
I think it's appropriate. I mean, you only got. I mean, how do you? I mean, mustard is. You know that
love mustard.
you can't go without that.
Nope.
We got a little relish action on the side too.
To me, I just need mustard sauerkraut. That's relish.
Sauerkraut,
great,
okay.
but you
That's
gotta have
like
the
taking
kraut.
it to a new level there.
Chili dog.
Chili dog.
Oh yeah.
Too early to be talking about food.
Chili dog is the right way
Chili
to do
dog
it.
would
Thing
be
is, you got to hit that
epic.
chili dog quick so the bun doesn't get too
Well,
soggy.
yeah, but
Yeah, that's the
there's a
only
trick to it, but it's
Yeah.
worth it. It's
Cheese on the hot dog. Yeah, I mean that chili dog is. We may have to get some chili dogs. Oh, by the way, Ramin, did you see your favorite stock yesterday? I meant to bring it up yesterday. Wingstop, what happened? What happened to Wingstop here? Did we stop buying or something? Wingstop yesterday, $3.70, Randy. I mean, I know you're liking wings.
Oh,
What the
baby.
heck? Oh.
So this is what we bought Wingstop the last quarter and it went up, and then we forgot to buy it. And there it is. This is.
I think Ram needs to order some wings to rectify this
This
problem.
is our fault.
Yeah, let's get wings
Buy the dip,
Get some
baby.
wings and hot dogs.
and coffee.
I mean, I would love a coffee, sure. I have a ballpark Frank.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah, Wingstop. So Wingstop yesterday down 20% on a miss and a guide lower there. So down $80 yesterday. It might have even been more than 20%. 80 on 370, Neil. That's that's close enough. 20-25%.
No, that's more. It's just over 20.
Yeah, so there you go. So Wingstop, no volume today. Just we're in that food
Disaster
mood.
yesterday.
In that food mood there. Too many people buying Pelotons and not eating enough wings.
Well, they could go hand in hand. You got to eat the wings first, and then the Pelotons. Wow, it's a wild move, and it was an SSR bounce. But you know what? Speaking of things that are down a lot, Sean was mentioning that Uber $71.49 if it opens gets underneath that price at the open. It should be the SSR bounce play of the day. So, I mean, the thing to like about Uber on this bounce is, well, look at the last time it was at the 200 period moving average. You did have a turnaround. I get it. This is on earnings. It's a little bit different, and it did carry through. But once you're underneath that 71.5, I'm looking for the mean reversion on Uber, whether it's at 71 or at 70, just that rounded bottom or that reversal wick. AMD gave you one. I think Uber has the potential. It just has to get down that 10%. And goodness, we didn't even talk about SMCI, which I know we'll get to. It's down another 4 points after that abject disaster. Like yesterday, 24 hours ago, we were kind of cruising along doing the regular normal show, and then their auditor leaves, and it's like an early trick for SMCI. It's down another 4 points today. That 32 where it bounced, it's already lost that. So it kind of puts a simple over-under on SMCI. It's a weird one because the market's bouncing nicely. I like the reaction of a meta bouncing back here, but there's so many extreme names out here today. What do you have, like the gappers and the squeezers, like Peloton, which just made a decent move back into 8. You got Carvana, then you have names like SMCI taking it on the chin.
We have happy Halloween to everybody today. We've got Raider traders in the building, all dressed up. Adara, Sharif. We've got Fabian over there rocking it, which I love Fabian's outfit here. Fabian, I don't know if you have your camera set up to you. I don't know how we're going to show you eventually, but I'll give people a little hint. It has something to do with this stock.
Yes.
GameStop.
Little bit.
Something to do with GameStop.
A little bit.
You might think, is he a video game cartridge? He could be. Oh, there he is. What's up? There's Fabian. He wins. Fabian wins today. Get that bang out of there. There he is. Right there, Fabian winning. Winning Halloween.
Right
so shout out to Fabian. Eventually I will take this off because this will get very hot. Oh, now it's got all this on my hat up here. But we have also are very, very excited to have Raheem Alani in the building as well. So Fabian, you let us know when that's all set to go. And then we have Raider Trader here as well. So it's going to be a jam-packed day. I mean, the earnings today feels like the best earnings day just because there's been
What up, my pirate?
Oh, you have your mic.
Give me your buns. Wait.
You have your What? This man is still on something.
Who in chat would put mustard on Sean?
A lot of people, my guy. This is today is National Hot Dog Day and Halloween.
Yes.
Okay.
I like your outfit though, man. You told us you were going to throw it down.
The hat takes it.
I like the jacket.
Who wants to see the do-rag? Who wants to see the do-rag?
Everybody wants to see the do-rag.
I'm from Ohio.
Yeah. A lot of pirates are from Ohio.
I've been there.
Yeah. sail those great oceans there.
Yeah,
in
you have
Ohio.
so many in Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio
Hey
is
man,
beautiful.
the jacket.
Captain Raider today.
They can't even see the pantsuit. It's like it's full board. You got it all going. There it is.
Oh my!
Full commitment
I didn't
with
even
those.
notice the
Full
pants.
commitment with those pants.
I didn't even
I'm telling
notice the
you.
pants.
Straight up.
Cleveland is in the building right now.
Chilling in
The Drew
Ohio.
Carey Show. We remember the name.
Oh, yeah,
The Drew
Drew
Carey Show.
Great show. Funny
That's
guy.
what it was. Raheem, you ever been to Cleveland?
Straight up.
But I do have a very dear friend who's the head of PNC Bank. He's from Youngstown, Ohio, so he's always espousing the values of going to Cleveland. And after they beat my Ravens last week, I don't really want to go.
I don't even know how to transition from that.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about the market. How are you, first of all? Welcome.
I'm doing well. Happy Halloween. Somebody over here told me that we don't dress up here. So
I mean, you did.
I didn't. I was going to do a little bit more than this. But
You're the Wall Street guy.
I know. I was gonna like tie, ascot, something, but
Fine,
didn't
fine,
do that.
fine.
But anyway, happy National Hot Dog Day to everybody,
Yeah.
and happy Diwali
Sean-
as they intersect.
Sean really repping the hot dog day. The overall theme going into next week, election related.
Something going on, yeah.
We'll allegedly. We'll touch on.
We'll find out. Maybe.
We'll touch on a
Maybe
few
not.
areas here that may be exciting, may not be exciting, and why. And I want to tie it back to Canada here because we'll talk a little bit about gold and mining specifically, but around elections, is there a way that we can pull out some opportunities in the small cap area? I mean, let's start macro first, and then we'll get down to gold. But going into next week, what are the overall themes that you're seeing?
So it's going to depend really on which side of the fence you sit on. Like, if it's going to be a Democratic presidency, it's going to mean a lot of continuation on the Inflation Reduction Act. It's going to be a lot of clean and green, things that thematically stick to that. If it's going to be a Republican presidency, then it's going to be a little bit more insular. It's going to be, increasing tariffs on foreign goods. It's going to be a lot more insular production. Tech and crypto are going to be net beneficiaries of that as well because of all of that. There's also, geopolitical tensions that come with either side of this decision.
Sure.
And then even worst case scenario is it's not decided on November 5th and it's decided a month or two or more later, how that just interlays into everything. So there are a lot of touch points and a lot of things to look at depending on how you want to make this trade.
From a trader standpoint, let's go both sides of the table here. Republicans win, Democrats win. Where should we be looking?
Typically post-election, you're going to see strong results. I was just mentioning, we were talking about it. The S&P 500 is up 6.8% since 1944 after elections, but we're already up 15, 20%.
Yeah.
So how much more room do we continue to go? Another 6.8% on top of what we've seen. So that's going to be really interesting to see there. Again, on those micro trends, if there's going to be a clean and green push, that touches into copper, that touches into silver, as an example, versus the other side of the coin. With those tensions, then you look at gold opportunities. Yep. And in both of those, there are still the equity plays that we've talked about. There is a lot of gold M&A happening. Like we've talked about, copper still has a fundamental supply-demand issue where there isn't enough supply to meet all of the demand that's coming. And then on top of that, you've got China that still has to build up all its infrastructure and its ecosystem. So there's a lot of those touch points that go in addition to the election.
So many themes already have developed this year on the strong side of things. Gold, one of those, all-time highs, just continues to march higher here. In the mining sector specifically, can we pull out a few names? And specifically, are there areas in Canada or on this side of the border that we can kind of point to and say, Democrats win, I'll look here, Republicans win, I'll look there?
Yeah, great question. Again, depending on which president comes in, geopolitical tensions are probably a little bit higher with one than the other. I'm not going to say which one, but it might be a little bit more tension with one. So where do people go for safe havens? They go to gold. So gold is a natural place that people will go to almost regardless here, but especially if there is a more tense battle and a more tense new president coming in. So you're going to look at that. Secondarily, jurisdictionally wise, you're gonna, in my opinion, gonna see a little bit more M&A activity, and you're going to see it in safer jurisdictions versus less safe jurisdictions. Let's call it. So there has been a decent amount of M&A activity that's taken place at, call it the mid-cap level here in Canada, which is probably small cap in the US still, but still at that mid-cap level, like Cisco just got taken out. Some of these other companies are getting taken out. But in our consensus opinion, I think we will continue to see more M&A activity happening at the production level, at the smaller side level, and again, looking at safer jurisdictions.
One of the big winners on the year, it's been a great year for crypto.
Yep.
All-time highs or thereabouts for Bitcoin here. Let's dig down to a couple of individual names. HODL, that's a daily chart.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's done okay.
It's not bad. Not bad, coming back in a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, as it should, with the size of the move here. What's the latest on HODL?
Great ticker. I remember that was a couple of years. It was during COVID, right? When everyone, that was the thing, right? So they are going heavy into the Solana exchange, into Solana currency, excuse me. So anything in that Solana ecosystem, they're increasing their stakes there. So they put out some good news around that as well. The price of Solana has moved up. And so you look at the chart to see exactly what it's done.
WonderFi also was on the show going back a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
We spoke to the company and got an update from them, but another one that's benefited here in the last couple of days, couple of weeks.
Yeah, again, in Canada, we don't have a ton of names in that crypto ecosystem. There's probably about 6 or 7 I think we can point to. WonderFi being one of them that's been around for a long time. Like you said, they've been on the show coming on a couple of years now, right? WonderFi was, I believe, if I saw correctly, it was the #1 most active stock. It was probably like a midday thing when I looked over on the screen. And it was the #1 most active stock here in Canada. And so again, if you're looking at not necessarily participating in Bitcoin itself, as an example, then you look at places where they're in the ecosystem of crypto. WonderFi is definitely one of those places, and a very active stock.
One of the questions we were talking about when we had the company on was the shift in volume when the US ETFs came out away from some of the Canadian ones that were first to the game. US ETFs came out, and their response was essentially to be expected. Yes, you're going to see lower volumes, lower volatility. As far as the ETFs in Canada are concerned, is that a good place to play, or should we still be in equity?
In my opinion, I think if you're gonna go with the ETF space, the Canadian one has been around for a long time, true, trusted, all of that. But the U.S. ones, like I think we touched on this when they announced that they would do Bitcoin ETFs. The U.S. guys, there's just so many more options, much more liquid, a lot easier to trade in and out of. So if you're going to look at the ETF space, I definitely think the U.S. is just gives you more optionality in terms of what you're looking for. In terms of the equity plays, both countries have really interesting equity plays. And again, just more volume, more liquidities in that U.S. side, so you're going to see a lot more.
I think a lot of people have been. I want to make sure we get to cannabis here, because I think it's going to be an interesting idea going into the end of the year. BITF, Hut 8, 2 other additional crypto-related names you guys can look at if you're looking on this side of the border. There was, I won't say any names, but there was somebody around here who mentioned that they put on a decent-sized long position on cannabis going into next week, betting on, obviously, the outcome to be in favor of cannabis. Tell us about a few of these. GTII, multi-state operator.
Yeah, the ones that we'll just go through these names real quick here. Given what's going to happen with the election, again, you do your own homework on which president takes a stronger stance, one way or the other, on the cannabis trade. The ones that we've listed here, and we've talked about going back a year or 2, or probably almost 4 now at this point, as this trend grows, multi-state operators have always been the place to be. Some of these names that we could run through real quick, all multi-state operators, all getting into now the 3-figure number of stores, 100, 150, 200 stores. So they're getting a swath of coverage. When you first looked at this 6 years ago, it was 2 stores, 1 state, 2 states, 4 stores. Now you're at 100, 150, 200 stores. They're consolidating very well in the U.S. as well. And in my opinion, the U.S. is doing it a lot better than what Canada had the opportunity to do. That was fumbled, in my opinion, a fair bit, because now you see 74 cannabis stores before you see a Tim Hortons now in Toronto. So there is still a very big opportunity on the multi-state side. So if you are looking at the U.S., you believe there's a cannabis trade, multi-state operators are the place to be.
On that note, it's kind of interesting you mentioned that. I noticed on the weekend 2 of the ones in our neighborhood with boarded up windows. So it's coming to an end, I think, as far as the volume is concerned. Out of these other ones here, Curaleaf, there's TRUL, VRNO, TER. Maybe pull out one here that we can touch on.
Yeah, Curaleaf as an example. They're in 17 states. They've just cracked into. They're coming up on 150 stores. So it's a stock that's obviously taking its hits on all things like in cannabis that will do. But again, being a multi-state operator, being in 17 states, the ones that have the larger state exposure have the higher propensity to be the ones that might go into the new states, because as legalization may or may not occur, different states are also putting this on the ballot. You've still got a lot of runway across the U.S. So there will be a lot of touch points there.
In your mind, how much of this is already priced in if you look at any of these?
It's a great question. I mean, I think you're seeing a lot of that pricing in, whether it's gold as an example, that's already priced in. If you look at the Canadian, mid tiers that are, or the small producers / mid-tier producers, you see some of that's already priced in. Same thing happens with the energy trade. Same thing's happening with the cannabis trade. There is a level of it's already been priced in, and to an extent, you can even say Bitcoin, it's already priced in. So there's people that are way smarter than us that can tell us about that pricing in factor. But there's also that big momentum trade right after the election, right? Like, depending on who wins, will Bitcoin continue to run or will it fall off after that? Cannabis, same thing. Depending on who wins, will these multi-state operators all of a sudden say, we're going to be in 51 states tomorrow, or are they going to still be at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 states? So is it already priced in? Possibly.
More certainty, to come, obviously next week. So we'll maybe do a recap after the fact and see how we did. But I mean, always great information. It's going to be exciting regardless, I think, going into Q4, whether it's gold, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's some of these weed names as we were talking about. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups. Good to see you.
Always.
Thank you so much there, Rahim. As always, giving us those goods. And, as mentioning about those the ETFs, I actually find the U.S. ones, and we're talking about Bitcoin, they're much better, not just the liquidity, but also the fees. Because I know I was in the Canadian ones. Well, actually still am in the Canadian ones and moving over to the U.S. And I think for a trading standpoint, they're actually fantastic as well. There's one name, so there's a couple of things I want to get to here, but there's one name that I'm only going to mention this because how can you not talk about Root when it's up 93%? So there's a host of things that are moving like what today, and Root might just be one of them. Just keeping an eye on it. It doesn't really have a lot of liquidity here, insurance name, and Ohio-based, by the way, for Mr. Rader, wherever he went on to. But gap up on earnings, able to go almost 100% to the upside. And there were some comments from Peloton just recently. Their CEO was talking. Didn't catch them all, but Peloton with a little bit of a dip up at $8.50, just pulled back and starting to level off around $8 in here. So now only up 20%. The host of names that are absolutely on fire is just wild. As one of my screens just turned off by itself, but it's back now. So the host of names that are on fire is absolutely insane, but we got to make sure we're paying attention to the overall market, which is down today. I mean, the Nasdaq's down 0.75. We just did a little bit of a rollover, but all these runners to the left and to the right of them all over the place.
Yeah, we want to thank Rahim for coming through there with some, my mic's on, with some great information there. I was going to look at MSOS, but yeah, Peloton, the sticky note is now out right now. We have it written down here, Peloton 760. So we just held. I mean, I just wrote it now. So there's 760. It's where VWAP is. So it actually held that level. So I think that the play back into VWAP there for Peloton, something to be looking at there. So it's up 20%, great earnings. Again, new management. Peloton's making money now. I mean, this is what you're looking for when you're looking for software as a service, basically. They sell the bike, get you on that $50 a month or whatever it is. Peloton right now up 20% and looking to still go. One thing about what the gentlemen were talking about was, if you've made a play recently on the cannabis ETF here, MSOS, it's down quite a lot, actually. It was 780 a week ago. And of course, Rahim was talking more about the multi-state operators specifically. This MSOS rate here, nice move down $1 in about a week. So that's going to give you about a 15 to 20% pullback right now. So I feel that if you are interested in those plays, and again, rewind to hear some of the reasons why, you know, this could be a play right now just because of the level that we're at. So, yeah, some cannabis names interesting here heading into the new government. I guess no matter what, it's going to be a new government.
Yeah,
it's either going to be the Harris government now or Trump. And either way, as long as they do not put tariffs on hot dogs or more taxes on that, then I think we would be fine right now. And by the way, I mean, you can still go get me and a drink at Costco for $1.50. I mean, is that not a great value right there on what by the way, people are asking.
They never give it up.
Is it? I do not believe it's actually National Hot Dog Day. I just said that. So if not, that's probably not true.
It can be.
I would say that they have those hot dog eating contests, and that's probably
they have a thing
around the day.
They have a thing on Netflix now.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that yet. Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, on Joey Chestnut. I would imagine whenever they have that competition is National Hot Dog or whatever, it should be National Hot Dog.
Well, that's around July 4th, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, but I gotta answer. Who is this asking in the chat? Mike.
Coffee here.
Because I'm a true nerd. There's no visor because I'm not Geordie LaForge, and you can only tell. You've got to look at the actual It's not just the colors. You got to look at the rank. That's Lieutenant Commander Data, who's I think the best character in the entire series. So that's who we are. But I'm telling you, it's going to be There he is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In the house.
He's got the old school helmet on.
That's what I'm talking about.
The old school helmet on. You're ready to go.
We're ready to go.
You got the fight strap on that thing, or
Fight strap? Oh, no fight strap.
no fight strap on
you
this?
need that though.
No, we don't got the fight
I like
strap.
that. I like that.
We're ready to
Okay.
take 'em off and-
Or ready to go. Wait, what? You got your lesson going today?
We got the lesson going today. We're going to talk some debit spreads and basic hedging. So let's go. We're going to drop the gloves on the spreads just like the leaves. So we're going to have a great time with that one today.
Wait till we jersey you right.
Exactly.
There we go, man. And when you are watching the midday show, you can enjoy, it's lunchtime. You have some hot dogs, things like that. I mean, there's lots of opportunities to have a glizzy today. So, but probably not now. It's a little too early, 9 o'clock in the morning. Hey, unless you're tailgating somewhere, which someone probably is somewhere. College football starts Thursdays, right? So maybe there must be something going on today. Probably not this early, but all right.
Or you're a Dodgers fan that's just still celebrating.
Yeah, I always...
Which is fine, too.
I was actually watching that last night, and I say to when we don't really have an opinion, I'd rather them win at home.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of felt Gia woke up this morning and asked me who won, and she was kind of sad. Even though she was going for the Dodgers, she was sad that it was not at home. And I said, yeah, that makes sense.
It's always more fun to win at home.
I'm
just happy Teoscar won. Former Jay. Kiermaier, too. We'll take it.
Yep.
Only way they'll win.
We gave up that level, guys, the one that we've been defending, that 5830-ish level, that's gone. So now we're looking at 5800 as support. We already glanced at it earlier. 5801 is the overnight low. Let's see if we can hold on to that. If you hold on to 5800, then we're looking at the previous support level, 58 high 30s as resistance plays.
All right, let's go. Lots to understand this morning as far as individual movers. If you haven't done so, jump down to the description in this video right now. There's a link there for the watch list. All you need is your email address. Comes right to your inbox. Absolutely free every single day. Has everything you need to know on it. In the pre-market, just keep my eye on a few things here moving around in front of me, including DJT up 5.5% so far this morning. We mentioned Roblox, Peloton, 20.5% right now for PTON. Microsoft heading in the opposite direction, nowhere near as much though, 3.8%. I was just going through some of the analyst notes here. I mean, we reiterate all the time, take it as a grain of salt, but analysts are opinions to which a lot of people base their trades on. Most are still positive, even after this report for Microsoft.
And it was a beat everywhere, really. The only thing was the guide, Brendo. So they beat on the top and bottom line. Earnings per share, revenue increased a healthy amount, 16% year over year. Net income rose 11% year over year. But they did guide below what the street was looking for. So they're guiding Q4 revenue, $68.1 billion to $69.1. The street wanted the higher end of that range. 69.83 was the consensus. There's also issues with delays from suppliers, I should say, for the build out of their data centers. We know they're spending, hand over fist to build these ones out for Azure. So it's a good look, Brendan. What do you think?
Yeah. That fits a lot of the smaller caps, even the larger caps, Microsoft AI, things like that. But what I'm looking for past the open is actually with Mega.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Raiders Mike apparently. Fabian's dressed up as Roaring Kitty, by the way.
Love this
I
guy.
don't know if we touched on that, but we having some mic issues. But let's jump over to the guys. Maybe Microsoft guys. What are you thinking?
Yeah, he's the mic does not like the pirate there. Okay, so again, 330 versus 309, obviously good. There, sales of 65 billion versus 64 billion, so that's good. Company reported 14% year-over-year increase in operating income, good. In cloud, up 20%, good. Not as good as Google. 33% increase in Azure. Not 35% in Google. Cloud services, Microsoft noted that it's expecting significant investment from OpenAI to impact. The thing about this is Microsoft never really told us how much money they're making on Copilot and what's been going on with that. So that's what everyone's waiting for. Has all this spend actually turned out for anything or not? So I just feel like you're left a little bit wondering what's going to be going on moving forward. I don't really see what did they even guide. I didn't even really see anything on that. But down into 410, we'll see if it can hold this level. For me, you try to play names that are short into a short market. The problem right now for me is that we've battled back nicely and holding above right now. So I'm kind of just waiting to hear about what Microsoft wants to do. I feel that fade backs into VWAP is always something that we like. But that's only $1 away on a $417 name. I think you buy Microsoft if you're trying to get something for the longer term right now. It's going to be a safe name, but it's trading at its 5-year high for PE right now. So it's a very expensive stock as far as Mag 7 is concerned. So for me on Microsoft, it's not on my sticky note, and I'd rather trade Google to the long side on Microsoft if people want to hit Google a little bit because of the Microsoft numbers. I'm fine with that. So for me right now, probably hands off a softie. But if I was going to do anything, it would be around VWAP, whichever way it holds.
Yeah, like the expensive part is exactly why it hasn't been really moving well for everybody else. Like everybody else, I think. And it's going to try to hold on a trend at 410. So just kind of throwing out that August bottom, like you got some crazy wicks in there. But if you look at after the August bottom, where support came in, you have like 3 distinct like upward trending, and that would give you the 410 level today. But you've also got the 50-200 period at the 420. 420 is a big level on Microsoft. I feel like if we're going to be weak, like this can be a short under 420. The name that's coming up feels like I like is a better bet for a bounce after they started red there, rather than Microsoft. Let Microsoft calm down a little bit here. But Meta. I like Meta's chances to get back into the green today. To the death.
Yeah. We're just talking about Meta's revenue breakdown here. It's impressive, to say the least. Just real quick, Nikola just out with earnings as well. There was a spike to the downside there. Yeah, they missed. So anyway, let's talk about Meta, also downside here, 1.6%. But I mean, not all bad here. But I mean, that statistic is, go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of eye-opening. Brendo and I were talking off camera. I asked him, guess what percentage of Meta's revenue, not profit, revenue, is actually from digital ad sales. He guessed high 80s, and he wasn't, far off. 98.3% is what they rely on here from digital ad sales. So that's a eye-watering number. Now, look, how they did. They beat on the top and bottom line. Everything was hunky-dory. However, daily active users, despite the fact that they have 3.29 billion daily active users, that fell short of analyst expectations of 3.31. They're also spending quite aggressively on AI build-out as well as Meta Labs, I think, or Reality Labs or whatever they call it. And that didn't have investors very pumped.
I mean, it's 1.6%. I mean, things could be a lot worse. This thing's still up huge on the year.
Yeah, I think with a lot of these mega caps as well, they missed a lot of their expected moves, at least what the options market and overall markets were kind of predicting. And so what that's going to create is kind of a premium crush that at open, you're going to have a lot of people down, both on the call side, put side, and in between. And so what you're going to get is what I think a continuation in one direction or the other. A simple trade I like to do is an expansion trade where you just set a high and a low and you play the break of that relative to price. So that's it.
For anyone just joining, Raider Trader back in the building once again today, and tomorrow as well.
I would say keep an eye on that one.
All day, every day is going to be a wild one here today. So Meta did get down to like 550. We keep talking about where these dips end up happening in the aftermarket, and it was clean, right to the 50-period moving average. So we get a couple of viewers, I know that and shout out to them, that we're hunting for that level as well. You're not going to get it barring some kind of an abject disaster today. I don't think it's incredibly likely that we'll see that price again. But you look, I have a pivot of this 580 here. You know, hold on to 580, and if it can break back above 586, just looking at key price, like previous key prices, like this is where you've had some nice little consolidation at the 580, some breakaways. If it can hold on to 580, break higher, I think you're looking long for the day. If we lose 580, I don't think you want to fight this one at all. It's a bit weird to me that, you know, everyone's so gaga out of the results of what we see that Meta is doing, what they're able to accomplish with the metaverse, the VR headsets. We all love it, that they're going to be the absolute leader when it comes to advertising. Everyone loves all of that. Everyone loves the growth. Everyone loves it's how it's relatively cheap compared to some of the other Mag 7, but we don't like how much they're spending to get there. I don't know. I mean, you can't have one without the other. So you got to have a little bit of trust, I think. And ultimately, it's still kind of breaking out of this channel. It'd be nicer if it held that 580 and started trending back into the upside because that's wild. The other thing is too, like because this is an earnings play, I think you want to be a little bit wary of that first initial, like 1 or 2 minutes and not get roped in. I think you want to be a little bit patient at the open. And I just saw someone literally sitting for like 50,000 shares at 585. That could be something to watch. But I think 86 is what needs to break out, though.
This is a pretty good one from Paul here. Sean has an idea to make your own hot dog place. It's called What's the Worst That Could Happen? The brat worst there. Kyle Burdett wants to give a $20 shout out here to Raider Trader and says, great Puss in Boots outfit. Right there. So thank you so much to Kyle Burdett. Kyle, Andrew will be on all throughout the midday. And we actually have, Sharif, now that we have Joe on, Andrew and Joe, both options guys. So we could do something a little more option-based during the midday. So I think that's good there. What's up, Kyle? Very good, Jane. Thank you so much, Jane, for that as well as we continue to celebrate Halloween. And we are doing it the hot dog way. Oh my God, did I just get long into something? All right, Peloton just came in. Man, we're celebrating hot dogs here. We got some Peloton coming in. Peloton just comes in into that 760. So we'll start just a small little long. We're long at 765, just a starter position again. We seem to lose when we try to get too creative with these right off the open. Better to let them sit down. Look, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, I don't think that bad right now. I mean, Meta, the numbers have been now sort of, looked into, divulged, and they like them. I mean, you're holding VWAP. You're starting to go back up to the upside right now. If the quarter was that bad, we would have continued the fall. Obviously, you have to invest in AI in order to make money on AI. So when we see a number that, oh my God, look at the spend, and then we say, but then where's the output from that? I think the glasses are going to be something. I think that's something else that people could buy. There's people being born every day, so therefore there's more customers for Meta. Like the stock, like the 580, dip down into VWAP, I think is a buy right there. Peloton, again, now it's up. It's going to be 10 cents in the money. We always like to take out something on the upside here. So we'll take out something. If we can get out a 10% at 75, we'll take that out right now. So we'll sit here, see what we can do at 75 on Peloton. But early trade, we wrote down on the sticky note that we like today, Peloton right there on the top left. There it is. We get that fill at 75. 760 dip into VWAP, so there it goes right now. Now 11 cents. What's the worst that could happen? I like that one, Paul. We'll keep going on that, yeah. All right, back over to the desk.
All right, SMCI, day number 2 here to the downside. If you missed it yesterday, their independent auditor basically stood up and said they want nothing to do with anything about this company and left. Ernst & Young. So that was the huge move down. Here we are down another 5.2% today for SMCI.
Now here's the thing, Brendo. So this thing got added to the S&P back in March. That's after it was up over 2,000% in a 2-year span. It's declined 72% since making that 118, I believe, 118.81 high. The market cap's been cut substantially from 70 billion down to 20. The latest event you just mentioned, Ernst & Young, basically saying unwillingness to associate with their financial statements. They now risk being delisted from the NASDAQ if compliance is not restored by November 8th. That's November 16th. That's a hard deadline. So the delays in filing the required reports, Brendo, with the SEC in August kind of caused all this.
Worth noting as well, earnings in 3 days here for SMCI.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think long-term too, like for people who are investing in this long-term bag holding it, you just got to remember the way Warren Buffett invests is like he meets the actual CEOs, he meets the leadership team because they don't end up doing mistakes like this when he puts his money into them. So it's just the leadership team, everything like that. It's just a disaster with this company.
Yeah, not much to look at as far as significant levels here yet. Anyways, guys, for SMCI.
No, I mean, 23, 24 on a weekly chart if you go really far back in. I think you just got to stick to yesterday. Like the bottom was 32 yesterday, so that's where they started buying it back up. I keep it as simple as possible. Like 32 was that double bottom if you go right back in. So over under. If it can't bust through 32, looking continuation to the downside on SMCI. I believe we had to pay for locates here. I don't remember exactly. It was very cheap here at Real Trading for locates on SMCI. I don't remember the exact cost, but like fraction of a penny per share. So SMCI looking underneath that 32. It dragged. A few things have gotten dragged down with it. Most notably, the one chip name that's I think a little bit expanded to the downside right now is going to be ARM at 6% down. Got eyeballs on this because 140 in the 50 period would be if it gets 10% down on ARM. Right there at the 50 period at $140. So I do have eyeballs on ARM. If it gets to 140, looking for an SSR bounce. But SMCI under 32 looking shorts. It's probably a day 2 SSR bounce through that price, but looking for continuation first.
So we got some more out there on Peloton up near 790. So that was so far so good there. We'll take that 5% or whatever. 760. Sorry, 30 cents there on 760. All right, so that's that one, Peloton. All right, SMCI, yeah. Look, yesterday was a great day for SMCI if you're short. There's been a lot of, recent reports about, them selling. We saw the Hindenburg report there that they were selling too much of their equipment to like a company that was sort of run by, what was it, cousins or brothers or something. So there was some sort of internal investigation into that looked a little bit spicy. But then this happened yesterday as Ernst & Young, said see you later to one of their bigger customers there in SMCI, all the way down there into the downside. And then today, the continuation trade is here again. So, traders that were buying options and everything during some of these pump ups. Remember yesterday, we actually went long right here and we were able to get out and like I said, we wound up losing not as much, obviously, as we could have. And that was the high, and that was a great time to get short, $37, $38, and now today back down in. So I would say we always try to play the 200 period, and it's nice that it sort of lines up with $32. Watch out for that bottom right there, $32.25. Now remember, it's probably going to be hard to borrow, so even if I just try to get 100 shares right here real quickly, let me see if we're able to. No, so we'll have to pay for borrows on SMCI, so if you're looking to trade it, just be smart about it. Make sure your broker has them available and move on from there. So right now, SMCI to me is a short. You just got to wait for the right time to spike and then try to bring it back down. So I would say for this one, definitely fading the pops here on SMCI.
Dump it.
On to Uber, decent sized gap to the downside here, 7.3%. We were just going through some of the numbers here. I mean, they're impressive to say the least. 31 million daily trips. The overall number was over $1 billion on the quarter. I mean, all of these green numbers you see on this page were up year over year or quarter over quarter. So across the board, better than expected.
Absolutely. Beating on the top and bottom line. They beat on earnings, Brendo. They beat on revenue. Net income, look at this, $2.6 billion in take-home money. This company wasn't even making money a year ago. By comparison, they printed, actually they did make $221 million this time last year. Adjusted EBITDA grew 55%, but they did miss on gross bookings. So they printed about almost $41 billion in gross booking. The street was looking for 41 and a quarter. But you were talking about the mobility segment, 17% year-over-year growth. Delivery for food, 16%. And freight, the weakest of the three, Brendo, 2%.
That one stands out, I think, pretty much every time this company reports as the sore spot. And even, 1.3 billion, up 2% year over year. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. We were just talking about as well that Uber is starting to become a name that you use as like, instead of just driving, let's go get an Uber, not a let's go get a Lyft. So that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how them and Tesla compete in the future with, of course, Tesla trying to get into the taxi or transportation business as well.
Yeah, if you're using it as a verb, it's probably not a bad thing for the company.
Yeah, true.
It's an easy way to pick out who wins and who loses in the space because literally nobody says, let's grab a Lyft. It is what it is. But we do like to talk about bouncing off the 200. Unfortunately, I almost just said Lyft. Uber did already bounce off the 200 period moving average at $72. It's looking like it's not going to open up short sell restricted down 10%. And there's your bounce. The 200 period on the daily is right at 72. 71.49 would have been the SSR bounce. So because it's trending down, that's still out there to look for a dip in that area. So that was the plan, was to look for an SSR bounce and a bounce off that 200 period moving average. Might take a little bit of patience for it to get down to that price. But we've seen this happen before with earnings names, where you get a little bit of a bounce play off the open, you can get $1.50 swings, no problem on something like Uber. So want to look for that test, either SSR bounce or right off that 72 for Uber. Not really looking at the short side of the trade. I mean, I had something marked off as a flat bottom break from before, but seeing as you'd have to go $5.50 to get up there, pretty unlikely. And we'd cross that bridge if it gets above $78. Much later. I could look for a mean reversion maybe in the afternoon off that level.
Yeah, so before the show started here, we talked about Uber. We talked about trying to get long. So we actually averaged in to our position here in the pre-market, and we got long $72. So that was just an order that I was sitting there. We got long, so hopefully it can hold $72. I love, just for what Raider and what the guys were saying and what Neil was saying, I like the stock. I mean, I think that it can perform well moving forward. Slight miss there on the guide. What's up, Roaring? On that one. I did have a question for everybody, though. Why did the hot dog go to the gym? To get beefed up. Okay. All right.
Wayne loved it, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
He's like right in there somewhere. You can barely even see him.
It was great. It was great. All right. So Rivian right there. We'll have more. We'll have more than that. Yeah. We got one for Randy when he's coming back over here. No, nothing's happening in Rivian. Okay. So I like Uber here. I thought that, I think it's a good buy. I wrote down on the sticky note, I did want to say thank you so much to Bizwatipa. I don't think. Wishing everybody a happy Diwali. So we'll say happy Diwali to everybody out there as well there. And we hope it brings prosperity and joy to you and all of your family, to yours as well. So happy Diwali to everybody out there celebrating the celebration of lights there, Diwali. So, all right, Uber still down 7.5. So I like the stock. You're getting that bounce off 10%. It was down 10% early. We could fall back into that level. I like Uber for dip buys. And I was just going to show you the sticky note, but we got to go in on time here. It's on here. It says 71 long. It just happens that's where we bounced. We kind of picked that level. I like the 70 level, but if it breaks 70, we cut the trade.
Watching a few other things moving around. Roku down significantly as well, to the tune of about 14%. Decent sized move for ROKU. Let's touch on Hood here, 7.3%. If you zoom out a little bit, though, I mean, we've been talking about this for the past couple of months. Pretty good year overall for Hood, a little bit of profit taking. Yeah, Q3 sales, the problem here, missing estimates.
Yeah, I mean, they did well in terms of growth, especially with respect to crypto trading, 112% increase in crypto trading and the fees that come with that. The notional volumes passed $5 billion. That was for the month of October, but they did guide a little bit light here. So they missed on quarterly revenue. The street was looking for about $650 million. They printed about 637. So selling off 7.5, but off the lows, Brendo, it hit 23.
What are you thinking here for Hood today?
This looks like another one that just did not meet the entire expectations. It's bouncing pre-market, so it could be another trade to the upside after the dip.
Just a heads up here, guys, for Roku actually ripping back to the upside right now. So, I mean, there's not a lot of volume behind this, but 13% still downside here after an earnings miss for Roku.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so Roku's heading to the downside. Like there's a lot with that Roku heading to the downside. Just one thing, SMCI just caught a bit of a seller there. Maybe it was when the 925 and the imbalances hit, but SMCI just broke through 31, heading lower. So that just happened. As far as Robinhood goes, I was eyeballing MSTR as well. To see if that could get back into green. I don't know that Robinhood's going to get green, but 25, if you zoom out to the daily chart, 25 has been a key level. I think a simple over-under at the 25, but there's so much to look at. You really do have to kind of pick out your spots. So I just wanted to quickly go over MSTR, which this one was down double digits after earnings and gapped it all the way back up. Now it's got this like slight trend down. I'm looking for it to do the old trap some shorts and break out the top. If this can get above the 256, which is looking less likely now, I do like that one. There's a heck of a, like we said, there's a heck of a lot to look into and to get over to. That SMCI doesn't seem to want to wait for 32 to give any short entries there. We got to be patient for it. The other one is Carvana. So CVNA, I'm not going to try to pretend that this is a rational daily chart when you look it up, but it's a squeeze nonetheless. So this is what's going on in Carvana. It was $7, I think, in February of last year. Now $250 and still 40% from its all-time high, which is insane. Actually, 50% from its all-time high. Unfortunately, it is trying to fill in the gap. 225 was the first available dip in the aftermarket, but it needs to break trend to go squeezing again. So it looks like you have a bit of a downward move. It does feel like the first thing that's going to come in is going to be maybe a pop short in SMCI. The sellers jumping into that one. I don't know if you saw an imbalance. I didn't see an imbalance on it, but maybe.
I didn't even look for SMCI. Oh yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's a big
there?
one. Yeah, it's 1.2 million.
There it is.
It is by far the biggest
wasn't
one
even
right there, SMCI. Okay, so I had written down here for Robinhood today, again, a name that I like, right? I mean, if we're going to look at Robinhood here, I thought buy it down here, 24.25, watch for a bounce. I think it's solid support level. I mean, again, getting hit, performed so well over the last couple months, Robinhood, pushing back into, it was only here a month ago, right? These are October, sort of beginning of October highs, and then we broke through it there in the beginning of October, end of September highs, and then we started taking down this 25, then we ripped all the way to 29. So right there, a nice little dip into this 24 area, I think is worth buying. We've already held 23. We'll figure out how it's moving to judge like where our out's going to be exactly on Robinhood if and when we're able to get out of it. So we'll see if we're able to get into it. I think this is one that we want to make sure that we hold on to a little bit if it does fall in. So give it a little bit of time there. Robinhood, I don't, like we've already been down to these levels. We've seen Uber bounce back, which was really nice. We've seen Robinhood now bounce back, which has been really nice. We just got another piece out there. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. And I want to thank everybody for watching here today. Over 7,300 of you. We have Raider Trader on the desk. We've got Neil ready to rock and roll. There's Peloton right now. We just got some more out at 85. So that's going to be a good win. We have more shares waiting in the 90s. And then again, above $8. So with less than a minute left, let's go hear from Sharif.
Joe today is doing the lesson. He's talking about debit spreads, the basic hedge. If you're into that options game, join Joe and I today on How to Trade at 11.
All right.
SMCI still flushing. Oh, Roblox was the other one. Roblox pulling back into $50 here. They reported this morning huge numbers in terms of a beat on the guide on their booking. So up 18%. It was up 24, 25%, I think, at the top. So strong move for Roblox. Just another one that's absolutely flying. It's way past the previous high. So if 50 doesn't hold, then 48 to 48.5, that's your prior high. We like dips back into prior high. So with about 20 seconds to go here till the open, I'm just hearing Ford's halting production. Didn't catch which vehicle it was, but yeah, through the wire. Not very good news on Ford once again. But let's get the bell rung in here today by Sharif, who could probably ring a few bells on the football field over there. Let's get this one going in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
Yeah, we'll go short Ford here. They're halting F-150 production.
Oh, F-150.
No, but I think it seemed like it might have been planned because it's not really moving around on that news, right? So, all right, here goes Peloton. Peloton just gets into $8, which is nice. We get 96s out right there. We're going to give Ford a go here just until we break through these highs of 1055 or so. So we'll go short Ford here on that halting of some production from, it was January to November to January. So something like that there on Ford. Adara, I don't know. Adara will be on the desk soon, I guess. Maybe filming something on that one. Yeah, no problem. Uber starting to go back up to the upside right now as well. So there goes Uber up to $75. So it seems like if you are into that one, then it is a hot dog firing moment for you because there goes Uber to the upside. I'm waiting to fade AMD again like we did yesterday. If we can get up into 150, trying to do that now. A nice little gap higher here off open for AMD.
AMD's where, sorry?
Well, it gapped a little bit up there to 148.50. Now trying to fall back.
No, because NVIDIA just broke the low of the day as well. I know we didn't talk too much about the chip names, but we'll get back over to them at some point. Like, NVIDIA just broke 137 and headed lower. So it just had 50s one time, and the second time through on Roblox in here. SMCI is headed to the upside. I have eyeballs on that. We're back in through the 50 level on Roblox, and just going to have to give it a little bit more room this time. So I want to get my stop in underneath 49. But yeah, NVIDIA is tanking, and the market's headed downside. This is NVIDIA sort of tanking into the downside here into 136. So it is looking very, very weak over there. SMCI starting to head up. All right, I want to get this one short. Maybe we'll have to wait for it to get into VWAP in here. But it's already headed back into the upside. Here comes SMCI with a little bit of a bounce through 30.
Oh my God, were we dead right about, first of all, Peloton is a monster right now, up 55 cents. Just Peloton ripping to the highs right now, guys. So getting some more out there. Man, oh man, were we right about that AMD short? And you mentioned that NVIDIA was making a move down. Well, AMD, man, made that move. I was like, what is AMD even doing up here? We should have taken that short. Yesterday, we were much more aggressive. I'm on that short. So we'll take a starter position right now as we are in AMD. And again, just trying to play it against some of this breaking. Like we should have been short maybe there. That's 147.60. We'll try to play it up to VWAP 148 or so. The market just made a huge move down. So I don't want to be, I'm fine being early in this name, but I don't want to be like overly aggressive. 147.50 VWAP is what we'd have to look at right now. So down a little bit here on AMD. We just made a nice move back in there and didn't capture any. So let's put a bid down there. 146 looks like 80s. We'll see if we can get about 20% out there underneath this 147. But watch out for a break higher. I mean, again, we don't need to be in it and wrong, like give back what we made yesterday on this name. So let's wait for this kind of a level. I guess that's 148. So let's get, okay. I mean, Neil, we're just talking about it, and right there, it's now $1 in the money on the short for AMD, and it's spitting right now. We've got $1 in Peloton almost, and now we have $1. Wow, man, every day is hot dog day, and there it is. It is a Dollar Club member right there. Two names right now. Peloton just ripped up into $8.50, and AMD on the short that we were just talking about. Now $1 in the money, more than $1.40 now in the money, man. How's that for a mustard trade? There goes AMD to the downside. And once again, it's 9:33, and I won't say it, but it is true. We'll see what happens moving forward. It's another banger of a day. It's AMD, and it's Peloton.
Get down. The market is absolutely tanking right now. Headed to the downside, 135 on NVIDIA is about to come in. I'm going to get over. I should not have traded when you weren't open yet in Carvana. NYC wasn't even open yet. I want to get there in a quick second. We said wait for VWAP on SMCI, so went short in SMCI off of VWAP. It just bounced 30s. Remember, it's SSR day 2 on this name. CVNA opened up. Not CVNA. I mean Roblox opened up. And we were trading it before the NYSE opened. Usually don't want to do that. The second it opened, jumped out, made a wider stop to 49. 48.5 was the level on the prior daily. So that's the next level to look for a bounce. But with it underneath VWAP, it has to show an actual rounded bottom, something that gives me confidence in that long, especially with the market bleeding here. So just SMCI to the short side. That was the name that we're planning to go short off VWAP. As long as it holds on to 30, gonna have to start taking profits. Any even dollar on an SSR name. Remember, this was down like 70 million% yesterday. So it's a continuation play. It's not down 10% now, but it was down like 30% yesterday. So today it will be SSR, and that means there are some buyers stepping into it, even as we speak.
Right. Good look over there. Ford not doing much. We did get out of, we only have 20% of our Peloton left right now, so that's going to be something to watch out for right here for Peloton and see where we can go on that one. AMD, we can go over to that in a minute. It is making a move back up. Of course, we are out of half of our, okay, let's get out a little bit more. We're out of half of our AMD trade, realizing that we should probably be out more than that. So we'll put another bid here in the 40s and then just take that 70 cents and then wait to see if we can get a little bit more. The action that we were looking for also was on, and happy Halloween to everybody out there. We did have some spooky Halloween gifts last time. I don't know, they might be in the bank there, Fabian.
Did we?
Yeah, man, we used to have Halloween disco balls and all that stuff. All right, so Uber now falling back in. We're going to bid 71.50, like we said. How's it going over there, my pirate guy? If he's seeing anything, please, Fabian, kick it over to Raider Trader. We're very, very happy to have him in the building once again here today. Just check out Robinhood. I do want to go to Microsoft and everything. I'm just trying to build out some of the trades for you that I'm looking at right now. Robinhood right now, $25 coming in. We are bidding $24.50 on Robinhood. So if that comes in, we'll get that, Phil. But there it goes again. Now back into the dollar club goes AMD. So let's take a little bit more out on that name. So far, so good here today.
Wow, what a move there on, we missed on Meta, that's for sure. Meta broke up that 586. Had my stop at VWAP, and there goes SMCI through VWAP. It's right back in. We'll look for another play underneath VWAP again, but it is still holding higher lows. It has bounced now twice off of the $30 level, so we got to be a little bit careful if it's going to make that push through 30. We can always try to join a break. Remember, SSR, which means you can't hit the bid when it breaks 30. You can just hope to get filled on any kind of a breakdown. All right, Peloton's not going to get to 730, so I'm just going to cancel my order there. I would have to break VWAP to get there. So all of a sudden, instead of looking for when I sat down, 7 quarters on Peloton, I'm going to look for the VWAP entry. And I promised I'd show Meta. There's Meta. It broke out that 586. We'll have to look for a continuation play here. But just want to get back into the squeezier names at this particular point, because I think that's where a lot of the alpha is going to be. And Carvana, yes, that is also pumping to the upside, but not through VWAP, not breaking out any prior highs. Squeeze names need to squeeze, and this isn't squeezing yet.
It's a good thing we don't have like this really loud construction happening like right outside the building right here right now. Okay,
not at all.
Yeah, no, it's not that annoying at all. All right, there comes a move down in. Now we're at the day's low right now for advanced micro devices. And oh boy, this was the only short idea that we had on our sticky note today. And we talked about where we wanted to take it. We take a little bit more. Nice trading there on AMD as it continues to fall down here through these levels, so it's going to be a big trade for me today. We'll make more on AMD than we will on Peloton, but we got more out on Peloton right there at $8. So we're almost pretty much out of, well, right now we have 12% of Peloton left, but not a big position again, as we talked about, not wanting to take too much risk here right away off the jump on some of those names that tend to move around a little bit. All right, so we're getting out of AMD right now. We have 25% left of this name. We'll take another piece right here if we can. We'll take another 5% out. So now we have 20% left there on AMD as we wait to see where we're going to go now with this name. But Ford not doing anything. We thought we got a little bit of a tidbit there on news about the F-150, but not really doing too much. We are short at 43. I mean, it's 3 cents in the money. It's Ford. You know, we'll take it. I'm not taking it. I mean, I'm bidding right now 36s, so I'd like to get that 8 cents, 9 cents, 10 cents on this name, but for right now, it's kind of sleeping. So right here is a load back up for Peloton. I was going to give this name to like 740, but now we're underneath VWAP, so dangerous spot here for Peloton. I think if you break, like 50s, then you can probably get out. So we'll take our shot here on Peloton, but we've already made the damage. I don't think I'm going to reload it. We only have now, we talked about it, 12% left on this, 10% left on this name. So if it drips back through, we'll be okay. Watch out for the 200 period down there on Peloton.
Yeah, the 200 period's gone on SMCI, I can promise you that much. But you need an uptick. Gonna need an uptick here at some point to get some kind of an entry into the short position again on Peloton. It's SMCI as it just continues to fall and flush through. It's at 29.5. There are major levels at like 23 and 28 on the daily, but until you get there, just gotta wait for the next reasonable pop into 30. See if we can get something into the short side. Carvana's trying to go. MSTR was another one we're looking for, red to green story. It hasn't quite done it yet. It just failed 250 a couple of times on MicroStrategy. This was down like double digits in the aftermarket. Needs to break out the top. And with this market as weak as it is right now, it's just not happening. But it is dragging down Tesla toward 255. So on the note, the only level I like on Tesla is the 255. Plain as day, double bottom since earnings. If it goes another little push down, we want to pick that one up as well. Nothing yet on Peloton. SMCI might be giving a bit of a curl here to bounce to the upside. No, it's not. Never mind. It's still just heading only down on SMCI.
Wow.
I don't want to take a 29. I don't want to take a 29 short.
Sometimes you gotta do it, but that might be too low. I mean,
SSR, I hate taking a break of an even dollar at a fresh low because then that's usually like a long retracement entry. So just gonna have to be really patient with it. Maybe Tesla comes in here. Carvana's trying to creep up for a bit of a squeeze. So is MSTR. I feel like those could be the next two. I want to say shoes to drop, but they're both heading to the upside right now. So I guess they'd be like breakouts. Carvana looking very close to taking out this top squeeze. Name's got to break to squeeze. So no, MSTR is under VWAP. Yeah, Carvana might be the one here at that 245 is trying to break higher.
Yeah, again, some good looks there. We decided to lose our patience a little bit here with Robinhood. We were waiting for 2450s. It got to 2480 and I was not on it. So that I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna miss it, that's fine. But at least let me get something. So we'll take something out. We'll take something on right now. We're long at 08. So we'll get some out there at 20s as now we start to go back up to the upside. We're gonna go 3 for 3 today so far on these plays, and they're pretty good ones. Pending Ford, so 4 for 4 if Ford works out. Nice move down there for AMD again. We've already cashed out of everything on this name. We're gonna wait to see if we can get a little bit more somewhere. Peloton, again, a pretty good hold right back into this level. Why not take another piece out here? We were uncertain of this trade. We talked about that, where we thought this name was potentially going today. Peloton right now, we'll take an $8 fill there and get out of that one. You're on SMCI, which are looking at it anyways.
It's about to break 29.
Interesting. I'm going to take another piece out right now on AMD. Just uncertain of what's happening here today. It's been a really quiet day. Oh yeah, by the way, we haven't even mentioned Meta yet. Nice move up to 590, pretty much getting right back into those nice levels that we talked about before with these pre-market drop downs. Like there's that 590, 592. So you get back up to there. So if you were looking for a short area, you could have just had that there on Meta. My problem is, and it's not my problem, it's been working quite nice, is just focusing on the names that we're looking at, right? So that's been AMD, Robinhood, and Peloton. They're all on the sticky note, and they're all winners today. So right there, we'll go 3 for 3 with our ideas, and the real simple ones, man. It's short AMD, it's long Robinhood right now, which we'll see if that works out. We took some pieces out there at VWAP. And then the long Peloton, which came in while we were writing the sticky note there today on earnings. So again, it was off our watch list, right? Peloton had earnings report, but we didn't see the trade until we started to hold VWAP. So that's what we liked right there. All right, the only other, perfect, we're gonna go to Andrew in 1 second. Just quickly here, if this goes down, Robinhood, we are getting more. What's up, Pirate?
Yarr. Great stuff. I'm Captain Raider today. But we also do have a ship of rotation, so we can look at that real quick if you want to share my screen. So this morning, just real quick, a lot of the defensive started to pop off the lows quite aggressively. So we do have a rotation out of tech, of course, with some of these earnings struggling in Microsoft, et cetera. But some of the names I'm watching off this rip is actually consumer staples getting a pop off the low here, but also utilities, which is XLU, and then additionally, one that I'm currently long in is XLE, which I long did open. So seeing some different things here towards the highs. Can we get more driven? But I'm going to be watching the defensives, guys.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, a little different plays than what we're looking at. We're looking at the big tech names. Andrew talking there about XLE, so we'll have to watch out for that. I saw gas this morning at 135.9. Like, that was like, what the hell? But okay, Robinhood again. So we were able to get something out. We talked about that near VWAP, which was 35. So there it is. So there's the long. So we just got triggered into a decent spot right now for Robinhood. We're going to watch out for 24.50 as the market's still underneath. So be careful with Robinhood. Doing opposite sort of what not what I thought. We want this long, but you know, it's a little late right now, 9:44. I thought maybe we would get this earlier than pop back up. So let's watch out. Let's be very, very careful. We wrote down here $24. I'm willing to hold it all the way down to $24. We don't have that many shares yet, and I am willing to get more down by 24. So right now, long Robinhood, and we've been cashing out of some AMD because it ain't doing what we thought it would do by continuously moving lower, even though these futures are going lower. So more outs there on AMD, and I say more outs, it's still 60, 70 cents for a win there. Numbers just came out, 41.6. Do we know where Adair is? Shooting the video, not a good time to be doing that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, the number just came out.
What was the number?
I don't know. We'll have to find it right there. Chicago PMI 41.6 versus 46.9. So a much worse number there coming through for U.S. Chicago PMI for October, sending the market reeling right now to the downside. Not really, but there goes AMD right now, and there goes the market breaking lows. So far so good here on everything that we're up to. Peloton right now 806, 805. Take out some more. Peloton, good trading there. Yes, man, everything working today.
Yeah, and then finally, Carvana actually broke out that top through 45 even, 245 even, I should say. Went into a prior low on the pre-market at 247. Now it's making a run at pre-market highs and aftermarket highs at 250. If it can break 250, going to put a trail on it down there. I took the first shot at SMCI reversion just now through 29, and it's still falling like an absolute rock on SMCI. Did get something out on the front side, now coming all the way back in. The other thing that just came back in, Roblox just got back up, double wicks now holding the 48 level. So we're now long off 49, and I want to add through 50. Let me just get a stop order in. So if it breaks 50, I want to add through 50 here on Roblox. So it's trying to break VWAP. It's made a couple of bottoming tail candles and a couple of wick tops there on RBLX. I want to add through that 50 level, see if it can hold through VWAP and then break some highs. Carvana, which I said we're already in on that breakout, just tagged the 50 level and pull back in. I think this can see a VWAP retrace. Seems pretty likely. And Tesla's still no 255. We're waiting on Tesla to get down to that price. Want to be patient. The market is bleeding right now. So if you're looking to catch a falling knife, you'll want to make sure you get the price that you want and not be compromised on it whatsoever. SMCI is now at $28. Have a fail on me for getting out of that short.
Yeah,
that was a trick for me.
Not a treat.
Not a treat.
Yeah, we feel like a pirate ourselves over here. We're taking money from this market, though, which is what we all want to do. Of course, as there goes AMD again, right back down into the bottom. Peloton's doing well, but the one stock that's not right here is, of course, another fabled name, Robinhood, as it gets into 24.60 right here. And I say like this is a problem. We're out 10 cents, but SMC. As you guys know, we have many trades on right now, so we'll see if we can get a win or not there. Ford pulling in. Oh, we're waiting for 36s, sorry. We might as well just take something at 37 if we can get it. All right, let's put out 10% there, see if we can grab that there on Ford, which we should be able to. Just one more print down, we'll get that fill. AMD still doing its own dance here as well, it looks like, so we'll have to wait to see if that wants to go a little bit lower, as we are getting less and less on this position. We have about 7 or 8% left on that trade. And then we're starting to average in just a little. There we go. We get that Ford. We get the Ford 36s. So now, Neil, we're going to go AMD, PL1, Ford, that's a big win right there. Robinhood, position pending, but not good, Robinhood, right there. And then Peloton, a nice little one here to set the day, set the tone for the day early. So far so good, but we are waiting on Robinhood to do something. My next bid right here is at 24 and see if we can hold that. So willing to sort of go to the downside here with Robinhood.
Yeah, speaking of downside, it is what it is. Got to move on to the next one. Roblox is trying to make that 50 break. But my eyeballs are very much on SMCI, which has now gone another level to the down. It's just through 28. It's continuing to flush in here. It's getting so big that you might see a halt to the downside. And if it does go into a halt, wow, I can think of a reversion after a halt could be interesting.
What?
SMCI just, like I said, continues to tank. I'm going to be the guy that has the top wick after the open on a short of SMCI. So that's already happened to me today, so it is what it is. Roblox is like 40, 50 cents in the money, but it won't break the $50 level. So it just keeps on holding. There's a refresher on Roblox at 50. All right, there's a bit of a bounce play off the $27.50 level. I'm just looking for a reversion play at this point. So every half or even dollar where it tries to retrace through, I'm going to take a shot at it, give it 15 or 20 cents, and try to make a couple of bucks on it over there on SMCI as far as it is to the downside. I am not chasing this short on SMCI. I'm just looking for the mean reversion. So it just popped back through 27.5. I got 64s. I guess that means I should get something out in front of every even dollar. So if it goes back to 28, then 28.5, and then 29, we'll see what SMCI can do. There was no halt down, obviously, as you guys can see. Kind of felt like it was close, but I guess no cigar. I would get halted on a smaller move yesterday, but what do I know?
Yeah.
It definitely did.
All right. Yeah, yesterday's move. Yeah, that was the halt that I was caught in there, SMCI. Not caught today, though, on the chip names. Yesterday's number one P&L name was AMD. So if you want to guess which one is today, it'll be AMD again. And we talk about sitting in the names that you're comfortable with, trading the names you're comfortable with, putting on risk in names you're comfortable with. This is why we put out something like the sticky note every day to show you examples of names that I'm looking at and trades that, you guessed it, I'm comfortable with. All right, so we'll put some more bids here on Ford. I don't know if it's going to give me those 35s, but there is a decent size there at 35 with that level. So we'll get a piece out here and see if we can, again, get back in maybe a little bit to the downside here on Ford and take advantage of those plays. So that's what we're looking at right now with Ford here, down into 1035. So we'll take that fill right now and then see where we can go. Robinhood. Now, I said we wait for, I could average in right now, but we already have our plan at 24. So let's not, whoopsies. What did I just do? I was on the wrong stock there. Okay, good. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Ooh, lucky there. I almost punched in to Robinhood right there and got some more shares, which maybe we should have. But we'll wait for this. So right now we are long at 24.75. We do realize that it's coming back in a little bit here. So watch out for VWAP. We are well under that. That's 25.20. If we can get something out, in and around 25, I think that would be a great trade, but it's going to have to rally from here to get to those levels. We only now have less than 10% left of Peloton, and now that I see what this is doing, we're already into 10 o'clock, right? So we don't need to be sitting around here and not just wasting our time. It's just more about focusing on names that are actually moving. And right now, Peloton's not much, and I only have 8% left, so it's not a huge risk portfolio management right now for me. So we're going to watch out here to see about Robinhood. This is the bigger name for us. We just had a nice little move up and failed sort of near that 50 marker. So let's be careful here with Robinhood. I'm going to get something out at 50. We'll take 10% out if it comes back up to 50, and then we'll work from there. But a little nervous that this name's not running up. So watching, eyes on Robinhood.
It's hard for anything to go up the way this market's absolutely bleeding right now. But Roblox is trying. I'll get to SMCI in a quick second, but Roblox is really trying. It did break 50 with a dark pool wick, it looks like, and I got triggered on that 50 at 50.03 or something like that, but it didn't really break through.
Wow.
So I immediately took most of it out and then bought lower. Now needs to hold on to this 49. You're just battling VWAP here to make a bigger move. SMCI did, in fact, make it through 28. It just got to 28.5, so bit of an SSR bounce. This is pure to VWAP. If it gets to VWAP, out, no matter what. So it's just a mean reversion play on SMCI through that last $27.50. We got that 64s. At this point, now that it's tagged 28, I don't want it losing 28 on SMCI. I do still believe this is ultimately a short trade, but it's just a mean reversion that we have on right now. So Roblox going.
Yes, yes.
Tesla lost 255 with a little bit of gusto in there. But at the moment was on Roblox and SMCI. So 55, it chewed through that like a hot knife through butter and is still going down here on Tesla, down 1.5%. We'll have to look for maybe a reversion back into 55, maybe play that to the short side over there on our good friend Tesla. Having a little bit of trouble, Tesla, like the rest of the market here. It's a weird one because you have so many like squeeze-ish type names that are running up, while pretty much everything you're accustomed to is going down. So eventually, Roblox did get through 50. It just got to 51, and wow, there's just so many sellers in here. Every time it sees the even dollar, it's just people just start throwing orders out there. Like, let it break the level, and then you can get out above 51, everybody, instead of just going right in front of the obvious 50 to 51. So I'm going to join them at 80 here, see if I can get some more out, holding on to VWAP. But the mistake here, don't trade it on the way back down, especially when it wasn't even open. Roblox was not open when I took the initial long, and the second it opened up, it then showed you some actual levels. So on NYSE stock, they don't open right at 9:30. Sometimes you have to give it a minute or two, and that was the case here with Roblox.
Yeah, for sure, man. We can be human as well and make those mistakes. But the only short that we had written down today was AMD 150 short. And then we talked about this. Spidey senses kick in once again, and we just short the VWAP. And now this is almost $2 in the money for this trade. So really, really happy, obviously, with the way AMD is performing. Look at this move, guys. Now $1.70 in the money on Roblox. All right, we were able to get something out on Hood. We talked about that. We did get out of that 15% of Robinhood there at 47s. We got some at 45, some at 47s there as we came right back up. We still want to be patient. The market is absolutely tanking, and we've been doing real good, man. We missed that Ford move on the way down, I guess, right there, it looks like. So we'll have to reassess that, maybe get some more out there on Ford. But for right now, let's see if Robinhood can make it go. Look, we're already him on AMD, so there's nothing for us to do. Let's get the piece out here at 52. I mean, this is, again, yesterday's number one stock, today's number one stock. You're here for winners, right? You're here for that? So that's a hot dog one right there for you. Now, Neil, it is $1 and $2 now in the money. It don't matter if we dress up and look like this. Don't matter what we're wearing. This is the market, man. As long as you got your wits about you and you got your strategies, that this is what winds up happening. There it is, man. It's $2 in the money as we props that up to everybody today on National Glizzy Day. Robinhood continuing to go upside there as well, breaking through 50s now. I might just take some out here. Again, okay, we'll take a 56. We'll take a 56 right there and get back up to the upside right now. Neil, it's a banger of a day, and it's only 9:56. We are 1, 2, 3. We're going to be 4 for 4 here, and let's hope that Robinhood can really make a difference and get above that $25 mark. But so far, so good. I hope everybody is enjoying the day as we dress up for you. We've got the pirate on the desk. We've got is it a captain? I don't want to.
Lieutenant Commander.
Lieutenant, that's right. We had that discussion earlier. The lieutenant to my right.
Right there. Lieutenant Commander.
There he is. If we need any help sailing those rough Ohio seas.
Because you got lots of them over there.
There isn't. Okay, my bad. My bad. We do have lots of glizzies in Ohio. Ohio has lots of hot dogs. I am sure of that as we'll sail along those lakes. But no, Raider Traders here. Thank you so much for joining us one more time here today. Are you enjoying yourself here at Trader TV Live? Pardon me?
I said it's a fun market to trade.
It is a fun market.
Oh, it's definitely a fun market to trade. There's so much moving out here.
Robinhood's going finally.
A quick look over here. I'm getting out of SMCI if it loses 28. You can see this higher low is clear as day on SMCI. So we did get it at that $0.50, but it is, I think it's a short. Obviously, we were short earlier, and then it made that breakdown play without us. So just a simple SSR bounce. Roblox is starting to crest a little bit here as it just got to 51.5. Our BLX.
Yep.
Last I checked. I just have it up on another level too. I want to keep
go
checking
Roblox.
onto it. So as long as it can hold VWAP, I think we can get to the high, which is that 53 level. That's continuing to run. Tesla doesn't want any part of that 255 anymore. So you're just holding way underneath there. Just try to get back above 254 and continuing to bleed. There is still $250 to round numbers, so there's a lot of room for Tesla to go. Let me just zoom out so you can see. 255 since earnings. There is 250, but this market is absolutely bleeding. That's why I'm finger on the trigger for this Roblox. Oh, wow. Somebody just flashed a huge order on Roblox to the sell side. Yeah, let's see if we can. I'm just going to punch out. So someone just flashed a monster order and just chased it down there on Roblox. Sorry, I was on the Tesla level too when it happened. But right in here, it kind of double topped at 51.40 or 50 or so, and then someone just flashed, I think it was 50,000, and then brought it down again another time. So I just got out of Roblox. Remember, ultimately we got it at the price we wanted, but shouldn't have had it before the stock opened up. And the initial position was bigger than what we were able to get on that break. So we'll take it off of VWAP here. It gave me 49.80 into 51 change there on Roblox. And SMCI, we just got out underneath 28. So we got the bounce play 27.5. The best fill was 28.30, 35. Now we're back out underneath 28. Still think this is ultimately a short. The SSR bounce did not get to VWAP on one shot without pulling back. So I want to look for the next opportunity to go to the south side. The initial plan was supposed to be short on SMCI. It just so happens that the long trade on the SSR bounce was the one that worked out. But you got to move on to the next, man. You made the top wick in there. You got to just move on and take the next winning trade that you can. DJT just opened back up after a down halt. I know a lot of people have been hollering about that one. It's bleeding to the downside as well. Halted at 38 change, now at 37. If you're doing levels on this, then I guess you're talking about 33, 34. But a flat bottom break and now flushing on DJT. I didn't pay for locates today on DJT, but last I checked, we used to have Funware for free.
Oh boy.
No, we don't today.
We do not today.
We do not today. Got to pay.
Like I don't want this all to seem like I know trading is not easy, and we show that to you every single day. As we'll have losers, we'll have winners on board. But like right now, we're going to be at the highest spot we've been at all day. AMD, and I just tweeted this out for everybody here today, and we just put our sticky note out. We just made a comment on it. This is the only short we had written down today on our sticky note was AMD. And we have that short, and it's $3 in the money, and it's exactly the trade that we wanted to put on. And it worked out pretty much to a T right now, 250 in the money. And then look what happened to Robinhood again. I'm going to have to get a lot better, obviously, at making sure I pick the right levels and pick the right amount of shares to get in at the right time. But we wrote down 24 to 24.50 here. Like, look, I know we're all checking the sticky note out every day, but this is it right here on Robinhood, 24 to 24.50. Solid support level. We brought that up for reasons, right? So right there goes Robinhood right now. I wish that we had bought more down there. We were waiting for 24 flat, again, to give it a little bit more room. But there's Robinhood right now. Nice little bounce back into it. So we still have on about, not enough, man, about 40% or so left of Robinhood. Wish we had a little bit more. So we'll hold on and see if we can be right about that one. But we're doing it again right now here, guys, today. We're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4 on this side. And it's sticky note related. So we're going to go find out how good our guy's doing over there. Mr. Raider, what you got for us?
Oh boy, am I going to be managing this vessel. No, as far as risk management for today, guys, I was actually looking at the derivatives market, and right here, if you want to share this chart, we do have two major put walls at 572 and 570. Now, for those that don't know, put walls in the market act as a support area, just with the market makers selling to hedge, but then once those kind of get crushed, whatever, they start to buy equity off of it, creating a support. So I do expect 572 to 570 being our downside targets for this week. As far as what you can expect, some sort of consolidation around 572, so your downside expectations are, at least from the major indices, reducing from a risk-reward standpoint. One last name that I'm looking at is ANET. After a small consolidation or bounce, I do expect this one to break the low. This one right here had a call imbalance to the upside, and we are starting to flush down from that, so I do expect a low break of the 15th of October.
Good look
Keep
there.
your eyes on that one.
eyes on
Love
the
it.
position board,
Keep the
ladies and gentlemen.
pirate talk going. We love it there. Thank you very much, Andrew. Uber is almost 10% to the downside. It's now 9. So one more tick, and it's going to go SSR. It's trying to bounce off the 50 period, sorry, the 200 period on the daily. There it is. That's our 200 that we like. It's right at 72. If it loses 72, waiting for SSR, which I believe is at exactly $71.49. So if it breaks 71.50 by even 1 cent, it's going to go short sell restricted. But 72 is on the bid right now. Roblox is actually going to continue for now. I still like it off of VWAP. The seller is gone, but I think we can try to get this one back into VWAP. It's definitely slowing down here and trying to. Well, it's obviously a squeeze play at 20%, but it's certainly slowing down. It's already putting in a bit of a lower high from the pre-market, so I want to wait for VWAP to come back in or some kind of a consolidation to get back involved. I'm not going to try the same price long on SMCI. I ultimately still believe, and again, it was the only short idea I had. We did have it early, and then it looked like it was squeezing back on a retake through the 30 level. And now you're making a higher low. I want to see if we can join the trend back in on some pops. It just hasn't gotten to VWAP yet. So I feel like Uber is about to be the next one as it's now trying to hold this 72. I'm actually looking for it to break 72, get short sell restricted at $71.50, and ideally get the long that way. There's no size on the 72 level, and it's been underneath it in pre-market. Literally nothing there. A couple thousand shares maybe, tops.
So if everybody just rewinds the clock to last week or to Monday or to Tuesday of this week, you would have been able to hear me say that Wednesday or Thursday of this week is the last of DJT. So yesterday was this day where we fell from $54 down to $39. That's Wednesday. Today, we fall down again now into $34 and halted right there for DJT. So rough ride all around right now for holders of DJT, but at least you guys are watching and heeding some advice, hopefully, on those positions as it just fell back in there. So, you know, it's rare to be that right, but I just kind of picked those days thinking that, hey, it wasn't going to be like Friday, you know, with elections coming on Tuesday. And then Monday, I mean, that's too close. And then Tuesday for sure not. So I just thought the steam would have came out of this name Wednesday, and it just happened to be that. So that's going to be a good trade there. And I hope many of you did ring the register. Oh, wait a second. I just saw the register right there. This one on DJT if you were long, and then if you had those puts. I mean, I even asked Andrew yesterday what sort of puts we'd be looking at here for DJT if we did expect this name to get back into that $22, $23 area. So we did have this on our mind here for the last little while, DJT. So no surprise by this guy for that one. And then in another name, like I'm just trying to show a little bit of diversity here, obviously, by taking as many good opportunities as we possibly can. But here's a $10 name right now. And Ford will be, yet again, another win. So it doesn't really matter, you know, what you're looking for. You just got to know what you're looking for. And right there, Ford, we had that news story. I heard it. We brought it to you live. It actually went against us. But since the market's fallen back down here, we do pick on a weak name, which is Ford. And whenever we hear things like that, we just tend to take it this way. So there goes Ford right there into the downside. We still have 35% left on that one. Reload level on Robinhood's going to be down here, 24.25. We talked about going 4 for 4. That was true, but now we're holding on to Robinhood again. So flat right here, holding on to this. This name could be one that we wind up losing on if it doesn't cooperate here. So Robinhood right now loading it back up through to 24. Then we'll give it a couple pennies lower than 24 bucks and see if we can hold that. So right now we're all good on Robinhood. It's been a nice day for that. And yeah, it's been another big day here. It's only 10:07. We had PCE earlier this morning there.
Which was kind of...
PCE or PCE, yeah.
Yeah, it was
PCE.
PCE.
2.7 versus 2.6. So that started the market to the downside, but the NASDAQ continued getting worse and worse. So yeah, we're not doing anything else. Microsoft, again, pretty bad down. It's funny that we haven't even mentioned Microsoft.
Or Meta.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
We mentioned Meta a couple times. This Root stock, remember we were talking about Root? Yeah, Root's now 170% to the upside. So, and again, this is just, it doesn't have to be rational, but it's absolutely going parabolic squeezing at this point. I don't even know, I'm just going to see, no idea if we can even short. I'm just doing for my own curiosity. Yeah, it's free locates on this too, which is dangerous. In some ways, that can be more dangerous when you're looking at a stock which is squeezing to the upside, because that means day traders that are looking at that and saying it's irrational, it's just very cheap for them to make the play. And sometimes that means they'll do it a little bit more often. The only thing we got into, Neil, was that bounce clean off the 72. So there's kind of a bottoming tail candle. It's hard to tell when the scaling is like this on the charts. I'll try to zoom in so you can see. So there it is, bottoming tail that held. 72 is the 200 period on the daily. I got in when it closed green, and giving it to 72 even. It's SSR at 71.5. So that's 2 separate trades. Can still get into VWAP, and that would be the target. DJT will be open in maybe a minute or two. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry, less than a minute.
Yeah, let's see
Check that. It'll be open in seconds. I thought we had a couple of minutes there on DJT. Unfortunately, it's going to open right now in a couple seconds. It's actually indicating a flat open. This one has a key. I mean, its key level's at the $30 level as well, for sure. But this 34 is pretty big here itself on DJT. So if it can do some kind of a
open.
Yeah, it's now back to the back open. It's going to be short sell restricted, obviously, on DJT. I'm looking for a press to be able to fade. Like the previous halt price at 38, ideally press. It might actually have to halt up for a fade, or just get up, try to halt, and then maybe a reversal play. So 38, the previous halt. I'm looking to try to fade some kind of a pop there.
45.
Uber is just going flat for now. Roblox is continuing, so we might have got to that one a little bit too early. Yeah, it doesn't look like this is, come on, break that 36. I want it to go far enough in here to get into that previous halt price and then look for a rollover. But it's got to break 36, at least test 37, or this is going to be a nothing burger. It might just end up breaking the low. So yeah, it looks like it's going to end up a nothing burger. DJT not even strong enough to get into like a prior resistance. So Roblox, as I said, going sideways. Uber going sideways. Roblox, looks like we might not be able to get VWAP in here. It's now holding that $52 level. 50 still going to sit at VWAP. I do want to rejoin the trend after getting out of it. Market might be weak, but it's the squeeze names that are holding it up as we speak. And speaking of squeeze names, all right, SMCI now double bottom.
Ooh.
Right, SMCI just put in a double bottom. Setup is a setup, and this is a trend reversal. I hate the fact that I'm only going long in SMCI. It'll bother you to the core when your idea was to go short, but is what it is. Trend reversal, double bottom. Need to be long it and giving it to 27.5 again if we can cash this one. I can't believe we missed a short, but you got to be able to move on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, we do those things all the time. And it's like yesterday we were long the futures, and then we flipped over to a short, and then it was P&L number 1 after that. So there's so much time left. Like, I'll come back sometimes and we'll have a trophy day in the morning, and then we'll double that in the afternoon. You never know, or you lose it all, right? I mean, you still got to stay in the game here. You only get to make a mistake when you enter and exit the trade. And so you got to stick with it and then see your results and just trade accordingly. I was, my next little opportunity here, again, just to go back to the well, I am shorting this VWAP right here. So if this comes back up to 145.50, we're shorting AMD. I'm not doing anything until then. I only have right now less than 5% left of this position. One of our big outs was right here. We did get some outs at 145 as well. So this was already $1.20. And when we were making money off the open there, that's kind of the problem sometimes is, you don't always know when to hold and how far names are going to go down. So often I will get out of probably a little bit, admittingly, too many shares sometimes. So, that's something that I'm going to have to, work on a little bit here as we get better holding for a little bit longer. I think we do pretty darn good, though, for that. Ford still in the pocket a little bit here as well. We just got a 31 fill, so that was good. Robinhood's the one that's been the most disappointing. I'm waiting at 20. Let me take a little bit more here at 35s. We're waiting at, 24.25 right now. I actually changed my 24 fill because, if we break too much below that, I'd actually rather get filled right here at the bottom and see if it can hold than to sort of layer into this thing and then take that max pain all the way down. Let's see if it can hold against that 24. Not to for us to take our shares down there. Hopefully it can come in, see this bottom, then get back up to the upside. So we could go red on this name here today. That, of course, is Hood if it does not continue to go up. Another name, you're already in Uber. So we
it broke 72. It's almost...
Oh,
SSR and 72 are two different things. I know it's only 50 pennies, but it's two separate trade ideas. One was holding the even dollar. The other one is it goes short sell restricted, which hasn't happened yet. It's very close. I got to wait for it to do that or set up a rounded bottom. Tried it. There was a bottoming tail wick at 72. It broke 72. I got to get out because that's my plan. Tesla did get to 255. Carvana wants to break 250 again. That initial breakout worked. It didn't really follow through much. It got to like 252, and that was about it. It might go again, but I got to be focused on Uber going SSR. It's not often that you get an SSR on a stock like Uber, although in earnings season, that's pretty much the time that you're going to be able to get it. So I have Uber up. If it gets to 71.49, I'm looking for just a mean reversion play. And of course, we were just trying to get SMCI. I'm not going to chase SMCI longs, no chance. Like once you made that break, you got to get it underneath 27 for the or 28 for the risk to work. Not going to chase it above 28 even. If it wants to give me a higher low entry underneath 28, then I can give it risk to here, which is 27.60. That's the structure of the trade, so I got to make sure that we adhere to it. DJT, for all of you that are still involved, it still can't seem to break and get toward 37. Headed right back underneath the 36 level. DJT continues to bleed. Even though it's down 10%, it's not even getting a good enough bounce to short somewhere close to the previous halt price. It might just break down and make a fresh low. You can always try that. Just no guarantee that you'll get a fill. If it breaks 34.50, or I checked, technically the low is 34.40. If it breaks that, I'm going to try to punch short, but because it's SSR, we'll see if we can get a fill.
Yeah, okay. So I know you just took Uber and got in and out of that one. We bought some Uber. We talked about this in the pre-market at, now it's back above 72. Okay, so long continues to go, well, it continues to work off 72. We'll see if it will hold that. But just to tell everybody, because we do this, I bought some 72s in the pre-market in my own account after we went long there at 80. I think it was at 80 exactly, and then we have 72 exactly. So we'll average into that one there on Uber. So that's the price that I have is now Uber going back up to the upside. Tough break getting out, but as Neil said, you got to follow your rules. I mean, it's just like me on AMD right there. It just went down, and I was like, I should probably get this out. Like we just made a 50-cent move back in there, but then I was like, you know what? I'm kind of waiting for the day's low. It's a different story. Like we're $2 in the money. We could be a little more patient with it, but at the same time, you don't like throwing money away. That is for sure. Robinhood. So we did get some more down there. We bought some 34s. We were waiting again for 17s. So that was like the bottom. We were trying to get that. We talked about maybe getting a little bit more aggressive. If you did, then congratulations. There's a nice little bounce there for Robinhood. We are only out 15 cents on 13 cents on this name as it makes its move back to the upside. Look, it's been a big day, right? And so forward right there. What else do you guys want us to look at? People talking a little bit maybe about Palantir moving around a bit here today as well. That's near the lows. Look, this name, I sold some at 43 and 44. We talked about this live on the show. So the fact that it's pulling back right now, we had thought that if the NASDAQ did have some weakness, we actually had this as a short on our sticky note a couple days ago. And the thing is like if the NASDAQ is going to pull back, Palantir is primed, selling at ridiculous valuations, but that's not the first time stocks like this have done that. So we are fine with it, but still could pull back in, man. You could see a 39 or a 40 handle tomorrow on Palantir. So I'd be very, very careful with buying anything near the top here on PLTR. And I would actually favor a short until we can firmly be above this $45. So I think Palantir will go back on the radar tomorrow for us for a short. But would really like this 42.50 area. If that's going to come into play, that's where I think you can start to short it again. So yeah, the only trade that I have on right now looking to add to it would be AMD. If we can get to that 145.50, that's an add for me. And then just waiting to see, I'm just letting Robinhood sort of resolve. Right? If it breaks through 24, that's fine. We'll get out of that one. But other than that, today is one of those days. It's going to be another good day. We'll add to the P&L here and just go into the end of the month with on a nice little win streak. So Really happy with that. I'm off tomorrow, so it'll be Obi in here tomorrow with
Got Obi in the
Raider
house.
Trader in the house is still over there as well. We'll get an update on how some of his plays are looking right now and what he thinks maybe moving forward here. Any ideas, Raider, with crypto or anything like that right now? I mean, Bitcoin's been hovering around 72,000.
So Bitcoin in general and the crypto names in general, we do believe they will have a positive return and be more risk-reward better, at least to the upside moving forward. But as far as names, I'm still watching. Definitely still energy. This one to the upside, I'm still watching here. Pretty strong relative to the market, of course, gapping up and then pumping while the market's completely flushing. But one thing I also do want to note is that, again, we mentioned that 572. 572 is that put wall, which will, again, slow down the selling in the market. So we can't expect some sort of chop, but if things get crazy, even a reversal. But I do ultimately think 570 is our downside target for this week.
Thank you very much there, Andrew. Put wall is in play. The market is trying to make a little bit of a bounce here. A couple of things. One, Carvana is going for another breakout, so I'm taking the next available break. We're only playing breaks on the squeeze. Double top once. We took it the first time. We're going to take the double top there again. But got some exciting news for everybody with regards to Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool allowing, we locked and loaded for it, Trade the Pool allowing traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goal. Best part, this limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split's upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss the chance to explore this limited offer. Shout out to Trade the Pool. Trading other people's money, a little bit easier. Get that risk management in there for you. So we're looking for that breakout here on Carvana. Just to recap, again, it's up a bajillion % over the last couple of years. It's a decent sized short float. It didn't get to 225, so you never really got a dip buy at that quartile. Took the initial breakout through 245 already. Got a couple outs there in front of 47 and then break even on the way out. Looking for this 52 breakout and then a play into 255. Let me just go back over it. While I'm waiting for that one to break out, not looking like it wants to do it, Tesla just retested VWAP. So Tesla, there is your 255, just retesting VWAP. It's in a bit of an upward trend now, so it kind of needs to press VWAP or hold underneath 255, kind of like a little bit of a head and shoulders at the 255 or a test of VWAP. Don't want to catch it on the way up. Want to see it round off and head back into said downside. And then Roblox is one that we're looking to get back into. Just no pullback yet into VWAP for Roblox. It's holding out at 51s, up 19.5%, super strong. Really just playing it off of VWAP in the 50 level. Right now, that's about 50.5 is a volume-weighted average price. So no break yet on Carvana. No pullback into VWAP yet on Roblox. I feel like it's gunning for it. And Uber has yet to go SSR. So it did break 72. It did not get down to 71.50, which would be the target to look for that bounce play. But it's still trending down. I think it's still got a little bit of time to get to that price. I think I might have jinxed you, Carvana. That's fine. Tesla's going to make this run to VWAP. So that might be coming in next year. Looking for the VWAP short on Tesla. Not really looking long here on this one. Down almost 1%. Although nice bounce here for Tesla. We'll have to let it play into VWAP.
We're bidding that 71.50. Look, I'm not going to apologize for Peloton. Peloton today will be, P&L 1 will be AMD, then we'll have Peloton, then we'll have Ford, and Hood could be the worst one. We'll see what that's doing right now. We already talked about AMD. But we got out there at $8. I mean, now it's right back to day's high again. I just thought, we hear Andrew talk about put walls and this and that and different things like that. I mean, I thought there was almost like some sort of a wall here as well in and around that $8 for Peloton. We had that huge move off the open, which made sense to me because we did have green candles, right? I mean, once you get green candles, you get green action, and that busted that all the way to the upside on good volume. Then we were basically followed by equal. Trying to watch out for AMD here. Well, it's just making its way back to 145. We're waiting for 145.50 because the market's coming back up. But then we fell back in there on good volume as well. And then we just baselined. And I was just thinking to myself, like, if we broke in, like now the 200 period is all the way up here, only giving us back to flat. Although we only had that 5% left, we did put it out at $8. So we did get out, but there is some size there on Peloton. Peloton today up 24% as David Einhorn obviously knows something that we all didn't know. What a surprise. And they're long there at $6. So with millions and millions and millions of shares as the rich keep getting richer in this rigged market. Okay, so talking about rigged market, everyone remembers GameStop, and I want to give a big shout out to my guy over there, Fabian. What's up, Fabian? There he is, Roaring Kitty. We're very lucky to have him. Roaring Kitty now, you know, he lost all that money on options. Now he's switching for us now.
Yeah.
So thank you for that one.
If he lost his options money,
Gill
that's like a replay of Brewster's Millions. Like, could he have actually spent that much in that little time? I think impossible. I love that movie. If you've never seen Brewster's Millions,
look at
great
Peloton.
setup.
Oh, wow.
So we are headed into VWAP. I just tagged into Tesla at VWAP. 256 is about that level.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention DJT is trying to get back to the halt price. So this was the other one. Halt was at 38 change. So if we get back up into this 38 change level, breaking 37, looking for it to fail underneath 38 on DJT. So you made a bit of a halt bottom, now breaking higher. I've canceled the breakdown on the fresh low of the day because it's closer to that resistance, I think. So we're trying to get that one. Carvana, no breakout. Roblox, again, we're waiting for VWAP in there. And this Root stock, oh my goodness, Root. So Root is finally on a little bit of a reversion trade, although I feel like it's not parabolic. Like, it's so parabolic that I wanted it to do something stupid before even thinking about looking for a mean reversion. It might just be a pullback into VWAP already. But I'm keeping my eyeballs on Root. I feel like that's going to be a bit of an epic pullback. 170% on that name, looking pretty good. So here's Tesla. If it gets back above 256.5 out, as long as we hold underneath VWAP and looking for some lower highs, want to be adding back in either like money fills over 256 or failed back under the 256 level here on Tesla. I think we got to be patient. The market is trying to make a sustained bounce here, although I still feel like it's 1.7% to the downside. We haven't really abated just yet. SMCI, again, that was a bit of a miss, but it's not really setting up anything for me. I have to wait for it to get to VWAP. It's Tesla that's already there.
Yeah, good look there on Tesla. All right, you know, we talked about yesterday our affinity for the futures. The thing is like I was kind of waiting for this 72 to come into play right there at VWAP, but I've just been like sort of like biting my tongue here thinking that this 71.50 could be something. Now we're starting to go to the downside. Thing is, I'd rather have the market go up right now, and so I was kind of like married to this Robinhood position and like affecting sort of what I was thinking because I don't think the market's going to go up. But then I'm sitting here waiting to see if Robinhood can hold this level. If the market comes back in, then Robinhood will not hold this level. I mean, it's been a bad day here today. We really take advantage of the short, of course, by trading Ford and AMD, but then we're going to get hit now on the long, it looks like. So this is going to be a problem here, 24.20s. So there it is. We'll take another position. So now our position is 24.46. Look, I mean, that's going to be what we're at. So this will be a 50-cent hit on some shares. I mean, we'll give back some into today if indeed this is the low and we do break below $24. But again, it's a trade that we had marked down here. The only way we were going to get here, especially at 10:30, was if the market was bleeding. Oh man, darn, Sean, you should have taken that. We were just right now talking about this 50 period on the futures. Nice move down if anybody's short. We should be short. Okay, Robinhood's coming back in right now. We will not average in. If this breaks $24, that's it. The initial thought here on the sticky note, and I talked about this, was a huge flush early into this, but the grind down into low levels, do not like that. I do not like the grinding into these levels. So we're not even going to take any more down here. We're just going to wait for this break on Rob. Well, maybe we'll take a little bit here at 05. We'll just punch in a little bit there, and now see what winds up happening. Yes, again, Rob and Neil going back and forth with the data v Lieutenant right there. Thank you, Rob, for the coffee. I had to go run and get some water there. I was
that one.
Feeling quite parched.
That's what happens. I mean, it is thirsty work here trading these markets. So here, someone was asking about MSTR. I think it was like, why am I not long MSTR? like Carvana, MSTR was only ever a breakout play for me. And I'm looking up and it still hasn't broken out. So Tesla, there's your wick underneath 256. Now, okay, so when it broke VWAP in 256, it got to 13s. I tried to get the fill back underneath. Let me just get a bid at 55 because someone's stacking the bid at 55. I'm going to take some out in front of 55. I did try to get it in the 90s on the way down, but it flashed really quickly through 56. I ended up catching a fill at the $0.50, so it didn't really get the fill underneath that 56 level. I'm going to leave it out there. Maybe we get another retracement into VWAP, but for now, Tesla failing VWAP and getting back into the 55. We lose 55, looking 54, half, and then 54. And then just to complete the thought on MSTR, MicroStrategy was almost a red to green. I was just looking for a 2E. Probably trapped some shorts or got some people out yesterday, and then a breakout above 50, and then taking out this top in here. It just hasn't done it yet. It's kind of a squeeze name, MSTR. We know all about that. It's a bit of a squeeze name. Would like to see it break out that top. It's kind of like what Carvana was able to do. So this hasn't done it yet. Still tracking it. Carvana still hasn't broken out that top. I don't know if we'll get VWAP in there. Maybe we have a chance to get VWAP there. And then Roblox is the other long out of the squeeze names that we're playing over. RBLX. Whoops. When I went to type in NY, I hit enter. Roblox still chilling out at 51. Like, what is it doing? It's just going side. Doesn't want 50, doesn't want VWAP. It is basically doing nothing here on Roblox. So, I got to wait for it to make a run at the high or play back into VWAP. I'm not touching it, diddling in the middle right now. Just let it make the move, and then I can react to the move to try to get back on trend with Roblox. Still like the long. It's just not setting anything up right now for me.
Ooh, guys, we should be short the futures. Oh, man. We had just came over here and talked about it. Like, as our kids say, literally, Dad. Literally, right there. And by the way, it's funny. It's kind of a funny story because my kids just yesterday or 2 days ago, they got their Robux in their accounts for the month. And then you come in today, and you guys know I'm long Roblox.
They're
gone. They continue to pay us in dividends there, and I just reinvest them right back into Robux. Stupid. Okay, so there goes.
Just keep them happy.
No, I was just saying, like, I buy my kids Robux, but then I own the stock. So today is fine. They can have Robux for potentially life if they stay at those prices. Anyway, they'll probably up them soon, I guess. All right, so there's Robinhood, breaks through 24. We've talked about this. We are going to be out now 40 cents on this trade. We were only able to get out of like 20% or so as we ripped back up here. We were talking about it. We were hoping for a VWAP break. I mean, I did like the long there. But yesterday, again, down 15%. I bought Uber at 72 today. I am not into Robinhood, but this is a name. Although today we'll lose on it long, it looks like. But for a long-term play, I think into this 22, 23 area looks to be pretty good. We tried the long today here on Robinhood, and it has not worked out. So Robinhood right now to the downside, continuously going lower right now is Robinhood. So be very, very careful on that kind of a play right now. Ford, again, we're out of 70% of Ford right now. So we can just, I was thinking about just ending this play. So let's just do that right now. If we can get a 38, we will get out of Ford. So right now, the only thing I'm concerned with is, will AMD come up to VWAP again? And if so, we'll take some of that. You know what?
I'm saying no. The market's just back at the low again.
I'm going to get out. I'm not even going to take that trade anymore, actually. I'm just going to punch out of this at VWAP if it comes back up. Because, yeah, maybe the long will just not be in the rest of the day. So if it does come through, then we'll punch that out. 145.47. It'll still be a 70-cent winner. We have less than 5% on right now of this trade. So still looking for that. And we're not out of anything here on Robinhood, hoping for a little higher move. It's only 10:31. We still got 29 minutes before we throw it over to Mr. Mitch Marner over there.
Marner and Micah Parsons?
I don't know what he is.
No, he's wearing 88. So I guess it's no. He has two.
CeeDee Lamb.
No, he's got it's CeeDee Lamb or I guess Michael Irvin, depending on what area you want to go with. Well, the only reason I was like the market's back at the lows, I feel like it should be the shorts working. Look at that rejection candle on the bounce, but I guess we're bouncing anyways on the NASDAQ. So it's happening regardless of how bearish that kind of didn't really look like much of a bottoming candle. Kind of looked like we were going to retest and break those lows, but we're already 1.9% to the downside, so that 2% mark can be tricky. So 55's hit, 54 half hit. Now we're looking for a retracement again into VWAP, but it's on higher lows. And a lot of times, I like to look at these trends. What I would like to see is it not even play to VWAP here, bust the trend line, hit the low, and then we can look for shorts underneath VWAP. So I do not want this bouncing on trend and getting into VWAP one more time. That would kind of stink. Uber has yet to go SSR. It is so close. I have it up. It's about 30 cents away. This is where it bounced last time at 71.80. So about 30 cents down, and it's going to go to 71.50. Once it breaks that by a penny, it's short sell restricted, and I'm looking for a mean reversion play, kind of like SMCI, like trend down, break it, hold either back through, and then we take like a retrace through 71.50, or maybe it does the same thing at 71 even, but it's getting very, very close here in Uber. I've waited patiently for it to get to the spot. Now that it's pennies away, I'm going to try to focus on Uber here at that $71.50. I just heard a halt on. No, wasn't DJ.
I think we're supposed to go to Adara. So.
Oh, sorry, Adara.
Of course, there were MSTR earnings in the crypto space, but there are two other crypto-related reports we're going to talk about here, including Riot. Just got a nice bounce here, but still down about 8%. They missed here larger than expected loss per share and a sales miss, though some analysts were actually positive on the stock. Macquarie maintaining an outperform and raising their price target to $17.50. For context, they're currently trading at around $9.60, so pretty steep price target increase there for our IoT. We also had Coinbase down about 7.5% here. Their report, much like Riot, a miss across the board. Smaller than expected earnings per share. They missed on sales. They also here had a 18% quarter-over-quarter drop in trading volume and a 27% decrease in both transaction revenue and customer transaction revenue. So pretty rough reports for Coinbase and Riot if you're looking for some of those other crypto earnings plays that aren't MSTR. In terms of Bitcoin, this is our second straight day to the downside, selling off a lot more aggressively today, trying to hold on as of right now to that 71,000 level, which was a bit of previous resistance if you go back to June 2024. So we'll have to see if this area ends up being a place for us to bounce into that new all-time highs that we've been waiting for since that fake breakout there into Tuesday. We have Ethereum down a little bit worse than Bitcoin, though. Ethereum down about 5%, hanging on to that 25.50 level as of right now, and weakness across the board here in crypto. BNB, Solana, XRP all down about 3%. Cardano here down about 1.5%. Same with Dogecoin. So certain names getting hit more or less, but weakness across the board in crypto, guys.
All right.
Yeah, weakness in crypto, weakness in the market, weakness everywhere, pretty much. Yeah. Uber just went SSRs. It'll be a weird one, obviously, like short Tesla. I guess short Tesla, long Uber in some sense actually makes a little bit of sense, but not here today. Today, the market's absolutely bleeding. When it went SSR, it just regained through 50s. The first time with not much gusto. Well, I grab 54s, stop at the local high. If it can hold a higher low, then I want to add above 71.5. And then the other way that I would look for any kind of an add before it gets to VWAP is a break of trend, which would actually be above 72. So it's either playing off 71.5 if it can hold this next bar above 71.5, or breaking out above the trend. I'm not talking about the trend since VWAP. Tesla's still working its way to the downside. Obviously, Carvana has not broken out yet, and neither has MicroStrategy. But Uber on the SSR bounce, potential bounce. But right now, it's just flat for myself.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Uber. Let's go into the upside. Remember to scan that QR code right now. Trade smarter, not harder. There's a couple ways you can do that. Sticky note or by using eSignal. So make sure you scan that QR code right there. Look, I've been using eSignal for 22 years and counting, probably 23, actually. I really like the watch list. I like how easy it is to customize it. I like the reliability of eSignal. The fact that it has all the pre-market, everything you could possibly need there available for you with the eSignal platform. So definitely give that a go right there. Scan that QR code. It's an entitlement-based market. So you're looking at India, you're looking at Hang Seng, you're looking at the Deutsche Börse. Anywhere you are looking, eSignal has you covered. Make sure you go over there, scan that QR code, let them know you're coming from Trader TV Live. You can hook up your brokerage, all of that. Very, very customizable. We like the eSignal platform. Please go check it out. One of our sponsors, eSignal there. And you could tweet out your plays. You could do all that fancy stuff right there with eSignal. So thank you so much again for watching and for paying attention and supporting some of our sponsors. So yeah, eSignal again. And I use it for everything, like all the charting, all of my pretty much, this is a 5-minute chart right here from eSignal. I use what we have here at Real Trading for sure, but I just prefer the reliability of e-signal. Pre-market, like all this gray is all the pre-market trading and so on and so forth. Very, very customizable. Whatever time zone you're at, dark mode, light mode, any mode coming through right there for you.
DJT broke that low. So I actually didn't even...
Almost as if it's Thursday.
It is Thursday.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely flushing in, so it just broke. Not to interrupt, but we did get the fill when it finally broke that low of the day. Wasn't expecting we were able to get it when it broke. It is short sell restricted down 15%, so grabbed it at 42 underneath the 50 break. It just tagged 33.41 as the low. So at this point, if it gets back above 34.5, I'm out. Every single bounce in a technical sense is an SSR bounce because this is absolutely bleeding the entire way. So we're going to look for 33 even next on DJT. When you zoom it out, you've got, 30 is going to be an obvious level psychologically, but on the daily chart, like it just broke through what was that big consolidation for that last leg of the upside, which is here at the 34. So the next is this 33. And then your guess is as good as mine. 33, the next key level, then I guess every even dollar is going to be the play. So Uber, we just got into that long. Tesla still working into the downside. It's now at 253 on Tesla almost. Yeah, don't bounce off 253. I want out off the low of the day here. Triple bottom there and a nice little reversal candle. So I'm looking out on Tesla, and it just bounced off the quarters. All right, so I'm going to go for the trail here. I'm going to let it run underneath 253. And go for the trail at the $0.50 here on TSLA. So the VWAP trace has played on Tesla. Let's see if we can get to that low of the day.
Guys, here it is again. We'll spin this one for you again right there. Uber, another positive name here today for me as we are long now at 50. We said 71.50s is what we're doing, right? We're long at 71.54 right now and starting to ring the register here again on some of these shares. If we can start keep getting them out as the market's been red today, so we do not need to fight, especially a red name that's had a catalyst which would create this to happen. So there it is again. Yes, sir. It's another chicken dinner winner right there on Uber. As we get into the 70s right now, we'll take 20 cents. Okay, we'll take 25 cents here. Nice little move up there for Uber. Let's go. We just need Robinhood now, guys. If we can get Robinhood, then we'll be all good in the hood. But it's Adara over at the desk.
Keep an eye here on MasterCard. Having their earnings call right now is MA, saying that they received a formal request in August from the European Commission, looking here from information on this probe here into alleged anti-competitive behavior of some of their card schemes or some card schemes services here in the EU. So apparently MasterCard receiving this formal request for information with regards to an ongoing probe. It doesn't look like this probe is specific to Microsoft or to MasterCard, sorry, but keep an eye on MA with that in mind. We'll also do we can do the sector watch here as well because it is 10:40. Lots of weakness, of course, in this market. The technology sector getting hit particularly hard here. It's worth noting, though, in technology services, there is a bit of a bright spot in NFLX. Looks like Netflix is trading higher in sympathy with Comcast, which had earnings and did pretty well. So that's what I'm seeing here for sympathy with Netflix. Microsoft and Meta both down pretty sharply after earnings. We have a lot of weakness here in this whole electronic technology sector. So chips continuing to be weak. Finance getting hit fairly hard as well. Producer manufacturing, some weakness. Consumer durables, slightly less red. Transportation, interestingly enough, Uber right here on earnings, the rest more green. And energy and minerals, we have COP up about 5%. That is, they had earnings. Looks like it was a pretty stellar report across the board. Utilities and communications also pretty strong this morning, guys.
Yes, they are. And a little bit of a run into 72 here on Uber. So remember the plan of action, let it go SSR. Wait till the moment that happens. Strike here through 50s. Only prices I've gotten are 53, 54, and 55. But there's a bit of a seller here at the 72 level. Remember, as we mentioned, 72 is that 200-period moving average on the daily. So a little bit of resistance and selling there. But looking for a play into prior resistance and then a push into VWAP. So that's going to be 72.2. If it breaks the quarter mark, wait for above 40 into 50s, takes them out there, and then look for the VWAP retracement. So SSR bounce play working on Uber as we speak. I did trail out of Tesla at 253.5, so it bounced off 253. You wait for the VWAP retracement, you get the $2 down, but it is holding the low on Tesla. So buyers have come into Tesla twice now at the 253 level. Also, the future is managing to hold on. And DJT, which we had short on the breakdown, never went further than 33.5. So right back to 33.5. Every bounce, it means an SSR bounce play here. So when it got back to 34, I trailed some out and then left the last 5% for a break even just to see if it would hold that break even breakdown. It then broke past break even on the last whole portion of DJT. So did hit that bid, was able to get it. It'll be up, but it didn't really follow through all the way to 33 like we would have liked on DJT. But Uber working into the 72 level for sure. We'll just hold on to that to see if it can make the bust through. You'd like these to get to VWAP on an SSR bounce play. Ideally, that's where I want to see it go to here on Uber. Still putting in some higher lows, so I think you can be patient. Patient to wait on the way down. We can be patient on the way up and see how our resident pirate is doing.
Yeah, so I'm just scanning for some trade ideas for you guys. I'm actually noticing some very sus option flow on TLO, TWLO. A guy's betting on a new high tomorrow for TLO. So I actually did take a stab at this one. I know you guys don't trade overnight, but for my swing traders out there, this is something I'm taking a stab at.
All right,
That's
for
CeeLo
that
or
one. Good
TLO?
little look right there. Oh, TWL, Twilio, of course, right there. So I like Twilio as well. It's a stock that I own in the personal account, but not much of it. Okay, guys, so there goes Uber. Let's go, man. Let's put this in the pocket right now. Good trade. You know, we're trying to be just as patient, right? But here it comes up. We're always going to have different strategies on what we do, but we both got the bottom here, which is really, really nice. 71.47s right now. We're long on Uber. And again, it's just one of those sticky note plays that we wrote down again. So we wrote down, wait for 71. We'll take 71.40s if it comes in. And that's exactly what we do right there. So there we go, man. We put Uber back in. We don't have, like today, AMD, P&L number 1, but that could be replaced by Uber very, very soon. As there goes Uber right now. Let's go. Let's spin it up right now. Nice move back there to the upside, hoping to get these retracement plays. I mean, this is where it goes. What I try to do is take an upsized amount of shares and then scalp them out as we start to go back up to the upside and then hoping to hold on to a decent spot. So right now, we'll have still on board about, I'll have to double check how many we had. I think probably about 40% or so on board right now. So if it flushes, we can reload, so on and so forth. So that is the good stuff right there on Uber as we still wait for Robinhood. We are out of Ford, obviously a little bit too early there. Peloton, likewise, as we talked about that. But so far with only 10:45, only 15 minutes left, AMD win. You can see, here we go. There's the AMD trade. Here's the Ford trade. And notice that these aren't like in and it's like out really quickly. We're holding these trades, right? We're seeing if we can get some money here. We're also holding maybe to our demise. Eventually, it looks like that may be what happens, especially if we don't get above this 15 level here. Robinhood, this is the bad one for us. We were able to take a little bit there, average it out, took some more out right here, but we are holding the bag right now as Robinhood looks to get below and as it's breaking right now. This will probably be a problem. And then, again, another big name here will be Uber as that came right in to those levels that we wanted, and we'll take advantage of Uber every time. So there it goes, nicely done into the downside. Nice trade there for Uber. Congratulations to everybody that has that. We've got Joe and Sharif coming on. We've got Andrew at the desk. We've got Adara at the desk. And happy Halloween to everybody here today. There goes Robinhood. So there's the fail. So we do have an L on the report today, and that is Robinhood. Downside break right there. I still have like 20% of it, but I just wanted to see if that was going to be the stop. We had sort of talked about being nervous about this, but the L is in the board right there for Robinhood. Green day, but L there on Robinhood.
Yeah, I'm going to go over my L because it's an ironic one, but we actually talk about this at the open very often, and I'll get to that in a second. But I want to update, now that you got to 72, stop goes from underneath the low of the day to the next bar low. So now I'm stopping out underneath 71.60. Now keep in mind when you're trend down and it's an SSR bounce play, respect the fact it's trend down. As it goes up, I'm trailing higher, understanding this is still very much in a downward trend. But let's go to the desk. Got to go to Adara, take care of some business.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step at advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
So Roblox, and again, like just to go over, I always talk about like if you make a break of your plan of action or a rule that you have, the market's going to want to punish you for it. So Roblox, when I took it off 50, it was good the second time through, but the first time through on Roblox, it was not open yet. Just because it was 9:30 did not mean that the stock was open. There was no NYSE open print, and a lot of times you want to have that come in before you want to enter that first trade. And I didn't, and I sort of paid for it a couple of times in there. It then made what I'd like to call a confirmation of the support right in here, and then goes into VWAP. Now the market is again making fresh lows. I think that was probably a solid entry in here, but I want to wait this out to hold above VWAP. Let's see a little more strength in some Roblox. It's going a lot of sideways action on RBLX. I don't want to rush into that. It just feels like looking for short entries is going to make sense. There's a lot of SSR bounce plays because the market's down so much. But ultimately, like the only short that I've had, okay, check that. I did have a short in SMCI, but it stunk. Tesla, it did. Tesla into VWAP, I think we can maybe get a retrace back into VWAP. And I'm only saying SMCI stunk because like it didn't lose. It just aggressive out, did not get any reloads off of VWAP. I had my stop in here, but I did not get any reloads when it came back through 30.50. Like you can get wicked out. The idea is usually if you get wicked out and you like to trade to get back in, you just got to be really fast if you want to get into a short on something like SMCI up at the top. We did play a SSR bounce here. That's probably the only time I'm going to do it on an SMCI when it was flushing. Not really thinking any longs on this stock anymore, unless it makes another kind of panic bottom. If it does a panic bottom, maybe like a 25 or something silly, then I might get another reversion play on SMCI. For now, let's go see how the USD is doing with it there.
Ooh.
DXY actually looking to maybe make a red week for this entire week of, final week of October. This is our fourth straight day of downside after a very strong month otherwise. This last week, though, we take a bit of a setback to the downside. We did have a lot of economic data today, starting, of course, with PCE. We had PCE price index here year over year, slightly lower here than the previous print, 2.1% versus 2.2 previous, though it wasn't in line with estimates. The PCE price index month over month also flat in line with estimates, 0.2%, though above the previous print of 0.1%. Then we had the core numbers, both of which were higher than the estimates. So we had core PCE year over year, 2.7% versus 2.6% expected, though it was in line with the previous of 2.7. Then we had the core month over month, which was actually 0.3% versus the previous print of 0.1%. The estimate was also around 0.3%. So stronger here on a month-over-month basis for that core month-over-month number, guys. In terms of other prints, we had initial jobless claims lower here than expected and the previous, and a pretty low Chicago PMI, 41.6 versus the previous here of 46.9. We were actually expecting an increase of 46.6 prior. We were expecting an increase to 46.9. Instead, we get that 41.6 print. So definitely lower than expected. In terms of other data today, it's a pretty light day. There's a 4-week bill auction at 11:30. But tomorrow, we're going to get another huge economic data print on watch. It's going to be non-farm payrolls at 8:30 a.m. Stay tuned for how that impacts the market and that US dollar, guys.
All right. Little dip by that. I don't know what happened to Uber there, but this is why we talk about it. If you're going to trade like that and you're going to put on some risk, you have to get out when levels are hit. So it comes right up there into the 50-period moving average. We get out, and now we have I'm surprised at how little we had. I thought when I was punching back here, I was going to have it full, but I didn't because we got out of so much. So, yeah, we just take another fill right there waiting for it. If we can break down below, I still wanted to give Uber down to 70. We talked about it here on the sticky note, not to punch out of anything until we got into 70. So I'll be fine with that, and I'm going to share size accordingly, taking some risk down here on Uber now, especially now that we get this flush. That's 71 and change. I do have another buy down here at 71.05 and then a much bigger one down at 70 flat. So I'm expecting that to happen. So don't, if it does come through, then it's coming through. And I'm willing to hold it all the way down there. So if you're not, get out when you're ready to get out. That's all good. All right, and then right into here as well, as we can have a quick little look at Google. I'm in this name here as well. Another name that I liked, I thought we liked anyways, into those levels for Google. I said if the market dips down today, let's trade some strength in Google. The problem is there isn't too much strength here in Google, as we notice. Nice move to the downside now, down 0.5, but stronger than the market. If the market does bounce off of what level? 20,000 right now, then maybe there is something. I mean, we turned this bull into a bear a couple of days ago, and since then we've hit this top, and now look where we are, all the way back down in on the NASDAQ. If there's going to be a bouncing spot, I want to be here for it. So let's hold out hope that something does bounce off of 20,000. I'm going to put my money there with Google. So right now we're long Google, 89s coming through on Google. So that's going to be my play right now, waiting for that. We did get a little bit more Robinhood down here. It just absolutely fell through. I'm going to give this one to 23.50. We talked about only holding 25%. We'll put on another 25% right now back into this one. And just, I laugh because this has just been straight to the downside here, Robinhood. So that will be our red name for the day. But we're going to try to get Google right back going up to the upside now. Let's see what happens to Google. So AMD, we're not going to get that price, although there goes AMD. Remember, I was like, oh, we should short it at 145. We did take a little bit of a short there on AMD, but our stop still remains the same. A break higher than 145, and we are now out. That's a decent reload there on AMD. We got 40s right there. Oh my, Neil. We're doing it again by accident now. We had that short 145. It's not as big as we should have had, but there it goes again. Another one right there, a chicken dinner winner for more on AMD. The number one P&L name for the show today gets added, and that gets stockpiled right there on AMD. We're going to get out if it breaks through 50. So, of course, we'll take 25 cents with risking 10. So, oh boy. Uber downside. We're digging into Google here. So
I got out of Uber when it broke that 60 level, kind of moved that trail a little bit higher. Once it started to go into 72, again, trending down, SSR bounce. Once it loses that trend back to the upside, I want to be out of it and look for the next play. It could be an even dollar, but Coinbase is the next one that's about to get the 10% to the downside. It's at 9. It just crossed the 9% mark. At 190.57, I believe it is going to be SSR. So it hits 100, breaks 191, gets into the half dollar at 190. Then this one's going SSR, and I'm going to go for a mean reversion on Coinbase. And the other play, Roblox is distinctly different from a lot of names out here. It's holding on to VWAP. That's good. I mean, above VWAP is good. It's got higher lows as well. You just double tap the 50 level. So I think it's, with the market making fresh lows and it holding the 50, I want to get off VWAP here and give it to the 50 level. So suddenly Roblox looks good again. I did want to see it bounce when the market made that fresh low. What you don't want to do is, as the market's breaking low, just sit on the bid, have it run through 50, and then maybe it goes all the way down to 48. But now that it's confirmed over VWAP, I'm looking long here, actually just above 50-50, and I want to give it to that 50 even. So above VWAP here on Roblox, liking that long. As I said, Coinbase is very close to going 10% down. It could get there in the next minute or two. No way to actually predict that, but Coinbase at 190.5, it is going to be SSR. So looking for that Roblox entry, and then one more press down on Coinbase, and I look for that mean reversion. Very similar style to Uber. Let it break. When it comes back through that half dollar, look for the long.
All right, with only 4 minutes to go, we've got Joe and Sharif coming. I'll talk about options. Do we know what the class is, or are we saving that? Oh, debit spreads. So get ready for that one, as we'll be talking all about debit spreads here during the midday. We do have Raider Trader here. So hopefully Sharif and Joe will be utilizing him, and they will be asking questions, things like that. If anybody has, I like that. I mean, I really, that do-rag is, no, honestly, I mean, that's a beautiful do-rag over there.
That's a full commitment when you have every layer. The pants, too, are like.
Yeah, can we get a pants? Can we set up the camera so we can get a pants shot there? Or come over to the green screen.
Actually, yeah, if you go to the green screen, that's the best.
Get over here, Raider. Green screen. Okay, we'll go to Adara, then he'll get on the green screen. That's Google right now going positive. Google right now back up in the money and starting to go. So we put another feather in our cap, so to speak. Let's go back over to Adara. Google ripping, guys.
A huge volume spike here for TVGN, getting its largest volume candle of the day by far. Still down about 2%, but it's worth noting we're trying to get a bit of a bounce here. There is this news coming out here. The company is deepening its partnership with Microsoft MSFT, so Microsoft Collab, focusing here on integrating AI and machine learning in this preclinical drug development, looking apparently to cut costs cut costs, and accelerate timelines. So it's going to be a TVision AI collaboration basically with Microsoft. Still down about 3%, but nice volume move to the upside and a 14.5% short float for TVGN, guys.
There he is.
There's the pants. I like that.
Oh, you can't see.
Is his mic on? There you go. It's on now. Go ahead.
Okay, my Ohio constituents say that I made it out the brig.
Allah.
Out the brig?
I made it out the brig.
Okay, is that a pirate thing?
It's the jail cell on a boat.
Okay.
Okay. So it is a pirate thing. Okay, good. I love that. I love that outfit, man. The guy came fully out there. I love the jacket. You can't even see the proper color of the jacket there. It's like a maroon color. Randy, what do you think over there?
What do you think
about
Randy?
that? Get on there, Randy.
Do I look good?
Get on
Double
there, Randy.
thumbs up. There it is, Randy.
There we go. Randy approves. If you got Randy's approval, you're doing.
That's all you need. You just need Randy.
This looks like a child show, like that a kid would be watching, like
The
Pirate and Friends.
Mr. Dress Up. It's like Mr. Dress Up.
The pirate and his crew.
A mustard hot dog, a Star Trek, and a pirate. Trade stocks. You can't get more random than that.
Can you believe we're putting up these numbers looking so ridiculous like this? Thank you so much, Raider Trader. He'll be there more and more throughout the day. He's here until, thank you, Andrew. He is here until
rest of the
Friday.
Week.
Yeah, the rest of the week he'll be here, and that should be a heck of a lot of fun as he continues to wreak havoc around the Trader TV Live studio. So, yeah, man, there's Google. So it's a nice move there. We'll take it out up to the 200 period moving average. Good trade there for Google. We'll wait to see what winds up happening there on that one. What else is just going on right now? Nice move back in. We just got filled on something right there. AMD. Oh boy, Neil. AMD is another one right there. We've fallen back in. We'll take another 25 fill. Things are going well with only a minute left. Lemonade moving around. Anything you want?
Lemonade.
So you're on Roblox. Why don't we do that before we go?
I forgot about lemonade. I totally forgot about that.
It is refreshing.
It is that cool, refreshing drink.
Yeah.
So I'm into Roblox. Coinbase is now 50 cents away from SSR. It's probably not going to happen until we get to throw you guys over, but you know where I'm looking. It's at 190.5.
Come on,
Roblox is above VWAP. I did, I guess I went to nibble at 50.88. Above the 3/4, I ended up getting 89, so it doesn't really matter. But I do have the rest of it sitting here in front of the 50 level, and we see if we can hold on to VWAP here. It's just relatively strong on Roblox. It's been about to squeeze names for the longs, realistically. That's where you have to be. So we're in Roblox off of VWAP. If it loses that support underneath 50 or just underneath 50, I'm out. And then Coinbase seems like it's inevitably going to be the next SSR bounce. Almost 10% down, just one more press under the current low by about 20 or 30 cents, and it gets there. Look for the reversion like Uber was able to do. So, without further ado, you know it's going to be an absolutely wild one. You've got the professor, you've got our main man, Joe, but really...
He's the main man.
No, really...